The only sports you can't fight in are the black sports.
Is football considered a black sport?
They don't fight in football.
I mean, they kind of do.
Not really.
I mean, like hockey, yes, there's not a you can
No.
literally square up, but I'm just saying they're literally hitting each other they are hitting each other every play.
Yeah, but the fights usually look like that too. It's just like pushing and shoving. Like people don't throw punches because you get kicked out of the game, and there's only 17 games.
This is true, but if we're being honest, there's only really one sport where fighting actually is like allowed. Because even in baseball, that's not allowed.
It's culturally allowed though. Like think about it in the NBA, they've taken fighting away from the NBA because of malice at the palace.
Even though we kind of just got one with the Pistons the other day. It wasn't a fight, but I mean niggas got suspended and it got into the crowd.
But they weren't throwing punches. They were just pushing, and Dante DiVincenzo was mushing people.
Isaiah Stewart.
DiVincenzo wanted smoke with Stewart, though. I liked it.
Well, he's a Nova Nick.
He's a Nova Timberwolf.
Yeah, now, but he's gonna always be a Nova Nick at heart.
Like Josh.
Holsey.
He doesn't watch the Knicks.
He doesn't watch anything. he watches the ESPN ticker update.
And the red zone.
Yeah.
With
but you didn't see, well, I was about to say you didn't look too pumped about him being the Madden play-by-play guy now.
I don't play Madden.
Me neither.
Yes, I do.
I don't, but
I play NCAA, so I play Madden.
It's still interesting, you know. I feel like they shuffled that around a lot.
I think they should just open up their checkbooks and get Troy and Joe on there.
If they were really smart, and I know they somewhat did it, they would just legitimately get everybody involved so that it could set up to where if you play on an ESPN telecast, you get Joe and Troy. If you play on the Fox Game of the Week, you get Tom.
It's a lot of money.
I know it is, but I mean,
and it's not going to.
How much money do they need to get paid for that? At this point, AI can really do everything, so you don't really need them to do the voice recordings. AI will do it.
But they got a license. They got to give you their likeness. And what if Tom Brady doesn't want AI using his voice, but he also doesn't want to take up the time to record the bits because he's Tom Brady and he's loaded?
Well, make him like how Michael Jordan used to be in the basketball games in the 90s.
Not there.
Yeah, he was like in the NBA courtside, Kobe Bryant. He was number 98 for like the year 1998. He's just number 98.
Oh, yeah, because they couldn't make him 23 because then he could say that's me.
Yeah. He's just number 98.
Well, you know, Bill Belichick, he was never on Madden.
Right.
It would be the Patriots head coach or New England coach.
Yeah. What a dick.
Well, you know, Chuck, he won't do his voice for 2K unless they make a certain dollar donation to the Retired Players Fund.
Is everybody else on there? Like is Shaq, Kenny, and Ernie?
Yeah.
Well,
but at least he has a stance, right?
I mean, Chuck's in the game though, like as a player.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah, because he's not talking, but still.
Pretty much. But yeah, I think what Chuck is saying is, y'all make a lot of money off of this game because these players exist, but these players aren't getting a share, a decent enough share, which I understand why, because there's so many players and ain't nobody really playing with them old school niggas like that, if we're being honest.
Right.
But Chuck is just like, nah, donate this dollar figure if you want me to sit down and do this extra work. Because Chuck knows he has teammates who are poor. And he don't want to be on Instagram like Vernon Maxwell.
Yeah.
You remember the Vernon Maxwell video from a couple months ago, right?
Yeah. He like it was like $10,000 with like another player or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, Mad Max, he's with All the Smoke now.
Yeah, so I'm sure nobody wants to lose money, but I'm sure he recouped it already.
And I don't think he was hurting for the money. I think it was more so the principle of it.
I agree, and that typically is what it is. Like I know,
Now, some of these niggas are down bad though.
I'll tell you something. My parents told me. They said never lend out money that you can't afford to lose. So, like, obviously, if you lend out money, assume you won't get it back. Was kind of the way that I took it, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, even for me, I've given somebody $4,000 and I haven't seen one penny of it. And that, like, you know, I could use that shit today, obviously, but it is what it is.
The day before, tomorrow.
Yeah, but I mean, it is what it is. I had it to give at the time, so it was, you know, I expected that person to do the right thing, but they didn't, and you know, it is what it is.
Well, maybe you were repaid in other ways that you haven't taken the time to consider.
Well, that's why I don't sweat over it. Like I don't forget, but I'm not sweating over it. You know.
It's fair, but hey, how we doing today, Parlay Pete?
Wyatt, I am rolling. How are you?
I'm good, and I just realized we did absolutely zero pre-production.
I think that we put together some of our best work when we improv. Now, of course, we got to know what order we're going in with this, but for the most part, we know exactly what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, we're going to talk about NFL offseason, the draft, NBA.
Well, the lack thereof the NBA, because nobody is playing in these games, or they're sitting out every other game. So we're really talking about the G League and the bench, you know?
You know, we'll talk a little March Madness. Maybe we'll talk about Joker and his 60-20 or 60-10-10, or should Joker or SGA be the MVP? What happens if you know, the Nuggets get put out in the first round? What happens if the Mavs win their first round series? Does that endear AD to the fan base a little bit more?
Yeah, we got to talk about Jeff Kobe piping Larsa Pippen. That's another one.
Excuse me?
Yeah, Jeff Kobe is piping Larsa Pippen.
Who is that?
Exactly. It doesn't matter. Some nigga that played basketball.
I played basketball too.
Well, hey, hop in line. Clearly, that's Larsa's guys. You know what I mean? It's NBA guys. That's their thing. Or not even NBA. I don't think this guy's an NBA player. But
why do you know that?
I had TMZ. Fox was on, and TMZ they had talked about it.
So you watched TMZ is what you're telling me?
No, I just so happened to have had Fox was on the TV.
You're a
That's
baddie.
it.
You're a baddie.
I am not.
Catching up on all the latest celebrity gossip for the show. You know what? That's good research. We appreciate that.
Well, then you got Kanye. You know, he's dropping an album tonight, World War III.
I don't care.
And it's completely different from what he somewhat just dropped that never hit streaming. But this one apparently is going to be on streaming.
I don't care.
You didn't hear the cook up on Act?
I don't care. No.
I just see the clips on Twitter.
Bro.
I mean, I know you don't care. He's a Nazi. He's a
Black Klansman.
He's a Black Klansman. He's a psychopath. Like, he's insane. Like, you know what I mean? The music is still there. I'm gonna definitely give it a listen. But like at the same time,
you also watched the Ack interview.
I didn't watch the whole thing. I saw clips. Because on Twitter, you know how that is on Twitter. Whatever you're I don't follow any of these pages, but it's the suggested stuff. So I did get to see some clips. He had some okay things to say in spurts, but like, I just think when he
I'm
walked
sure,
in the
I'm sure David Duke has okay things to say in spurts too.
sure, we probably all do, but like it's bizarre to see it, but I think it's just it's him taking back that for himself. I don't know,
If a black man came on this podcast in a Black Klansman outfit, what are you doing?
Asking him why.
I might cut the feed after he answers that one. I'm not giving this nigga light.
Nothing?
No. You're not gonna sit and talk to me in a Black Klan outfit. See, you can get that off on academics because he's Jamaican. He was born over there.
Well, that and then I just think Ack
is groupie enough to not to do it. He ain't gonna stand on the principle. He ain't got morals.
Well, that and if you look at it, there are certain things that that they have in common.
Trump.
Right? Like Trump. Yeah, you know what I mean? There's like much more. Aiden Ross is somebody like I guess he fucked with because they're streamers or whatever.
Yeah, but Ack's a groupie.
Well, right. I mean, think about. Well, hold on. Time out. Think about this. If you said 10 years ago or 11, 12 years ago, there's going to be a guy who sits like that appears. He's obviously not in his mom's basement, but like a guy basically that appears to be in his mom's basement that will have like direct ties and links to getting information out of Drake and Kanye West. You probably wouldn't believe that shit. That he's somebody that literally can actually like talk to these people on a daily basis, and he's not a music executive or anything.
He's still
like he has nothing else but a microphone, like you know what I mean, and he has access to just like exclusive information from these two people. If you had said that 10 years ago, you would have been like, "That's crazy as fuck." I don't believe you.
But he's still a groupie.
Yeah, I'm not trying to
here we go. Here's because I do consume some of his content, right? Credit to him for building a platform, an independent platform large enough that he is significant enough that the likes of Drake and Kanye,
Kyle Gazelle,
feel the need to interact with him to get their message across, right?
Yes.
They're not going to the source. They're not going to Sway. They're going to Act Right. Shout out to him for building that platform. But that nigga's a groupie. And I think part of the reason why those two guys specifically go there is because they know that he will cover them favorably because of the access. And he won't stand on them. He won't stand on a moral. He won't stand on a principle. And he's no different than many people in today's media, which is why journalism is dead, and these people should not refer to themselves as journalists because they're not. They're opinionists who want to save relationships.
I don't even consider him a journalist, but like
but he does some journalistic stuff.
He's not a journalist though. He doesn't write entries. You know what I mean? And not that you have to be a writer to be a journalist, but I'm just saying he's not a journalist.
No, he's a hip hop journalist. He does break news. He does source shit. He does.
That nigga's a hip hop insider. He's no different than Adam Schefter, bro.
Adam Schefter's a journalist.
He was a journalist. That ain't what that nigga does anymore.
Well, fair. I'll give you hip hop insider.
Yeah, I would rather him be considered that. And then here's the other part. He's a fan of both of them. So, of course, he's going to cover them favorably. He grew up in the same era that we did. He's a fan of them niggas, and that's okay.
I'm a fan of both of them, too, but I don't cover them favorably when they don't do favorable shit. Some would think I'm not a Drake fan.
I wouldn't.
I listen to all of his music.
I wouldn't consider you a Drake fan.
Bro, if Drake drops a project, I listen.
Bing, bop, boom, 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 bop, bam. That's the shit.
Nah, I didn't listen to that shit, but.
You didn't listen to Kendrick?
Thought I heard somebody outside of my house. Yeah.
You didn't listen to Kendrick?
I'm not a big Kendrick fan, dude.
That was who I was just quoting.
Yo, no, I'm not a crazy Kendrick fan. I just like the way I like some of his music. I think he's a great rapper, and I like the way that he handled the beef with Drake, which is crazy. Pause. But I'm not like some Kendrick fan. Like, you're not gonna come over to my house and
You're
walk in.
blasting that shit.
No, nigga, no. I'm gonna start listening to it again soon because the concert is coming up. So I got to get in my Kendrick and SZA bag so I can go in there and be on my West Coast gangster shit, and then get into my emotional bag while I'm in there singing my little heart out.
Are you gonna be in there? If this world was mine, hey.
No, I actually.
Roman numeral Trump, baby, drop it like it's hot.
Oh, never mind. I'm getting my songs mixed up, but no, I could probably get that one off. I've dedicated like certain songs to like women like in my past life, and because that like song meant something to me when I like
Luther?
that song to him.
Luther?
Yeah. I've sang some Luther to some women.
That song. Not Luther Vandross, period. I'm saying like that song.
I don't think I dedicated that one.
Oh, actually, and this was gonna be another, we're kind of all over the place anyways, but I'm about to send you something. Go ahead and plug this in the feed. Because this actually relates to Luther, the song, and it gets to the what I want to say about bronzexuals and this whole thing. Because obviously, he got asked the question, "Have you heard these songs?" And he's like, he lied. He's like, my youngest son, he was showing me. He's like, I think it was yesterday. This nigga LeBron just be lying. I don't doubt that he didn't hear it, but I'm just saying he just be lying. You can tell that nigga is a liar. Like, for no fucking reason. It's almost like he just doesn't want to pause when he's talking, and he just is gonna say something. But this one was actually pretty good that I just sent you. That it's gay as fuck. Maybe I shouldn't say that out loud on here like that. It is gay though.
This is a pro Bron broadcast, and you just bring it like you just shit on this man for no reason.
Well, you love the show. You love what I just sent you. Then go ahead, play it. It's only a minute long. Copyrights aren't gonna get us either because it's not the actual song. Bronzexuals, bro. This shit is so crazy.
If LeBron was mine, hey, 50,000 points, my king's the greatest of all time. If LeBron was mine, I'd make him dinner, pour him up some wine. Man, I'm jealous of Savannah, cause he holds her from behind. Wish LeBron was mine, cause he's the reason that my whole would shine. Shine, 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 shine. Shine, yeah. My king from the Lakers, man, I love him, don't you know? You can trade Luka and Austin, but don't let LeBron go. When I see him smile, his pearly white teeth never feels to flow. Man, my love for Bron since Cleveland to LA, it seems to grow. He's the go, off the flow, start to flow, logo 3, step back east. Bron got us on the knees, saying, LeBron, you're the reason that we watch. Dark days, you hit the bucket for its top. You hit the left, fuck you, that's your shot. Better days only with Bron. If it was up to me, I wouldn't give no other athlete no company.
Yo, no, that's gay. And there's nothing.
It is.
There's nothing wrong with being gay or doing gay things.
No, I didn't say it. It's still gay.
A gay man did a gay thing when he made that gay song. And I feel like I'm probably in the top 3% of LeBron fans. But the where I fall in my LeBron fandom versus like that top 1%, it's a larger gap between 3 and 1 and like 3 and 10. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Some people are actually just a fan of the man's game, right? And what he stood for and what he means to life, growing up in life and having that basketball player. He's been doing it for 20 years. So he's got, 22 years. He's got a huge following from many different generations, right? There were niggas that were 20, 30 when he got drafted as a rookie that watched it like in high school, like when he would be on ESPN, St. Mary's, they're like, oh yeah, that nigga's gonna be it. He's gonna be up next.
He played against multiple father-son combos.
All right, we're not here to glaze the guy. All right.
No. I'm not glazing. The point that you're speaking to how long he's been a staple in culture as the basketball player, and I was only using that just to show how long he's been playing. I wasn't trying to glaze him at all.
Well, yeah, 20 years. We're
not talking about Kobe here, and you're not on the A mic. You know,
look,
that's a glaze fest right there. That's Lisa Ann at work.
Well, look, I look at it this way. Kobe, I'm not even going to get into Kobe. This is about LeBron. My point is,
please don't, because we'll be here all day.
We would be, but this generation, this is what we're getting into with them. And these are guys that are like 20. So, like, they were born when his career started, right? And so, and I get it. This is TikTok era. So, like, it's cool to be gay and, like, have fun. It's 2025, right? Like, this is the new it. And so, some would say maybe that's getting deconstructed as we speak. But at the same time,
so watch your words.
Well, I don't know. Maybe there are things that do need to change. But regardless, LeBron he's been a staple, and I sent you another one, by the way. You don't have to play it. You can listen to that one.
I'm not. Later. That as a LeBron fan, that was very cringy. Because
the one I just sent you is not as cringe, though. It's like Drake and Josh, but
like I'm not a necessarily a fan of LeBron the man. Like
how could you not be?
No, but I mean, like I don't care about him as a person. Like I'm a fan of the way he plays basketball, and I like the stuff that he's done off the court, right? But I put a lot of his off the court still in the basketball way I look at him. Like your public image, right? The professional that you are,
right?
But I think LeBron is a cornball. Like you can't be that perfect, right? Like they say he's a pass first player, but he scored the most points ever. You know what I mean? Like he's just great at basketball. He's been great at business. He's with his high school sweetheart. He's with his guys that he either played ball with or looked out for him coming up, and he brought them up with him. He all this great stuff, right? And he's got his son in the league, and Bronny is playing as if he deserves to be there without a co-sign from his dad, right?
Yeah.
But his hairline can't be the only flaw. And when you're Bron, he's a prodigy. That nigga probably been lame forever, but every joke he told was funny. Every fine girl wanted to get with him. So all the stuff he did is cool because he got the results of what you want to get when you're cool.
Mm-hmm.
But at his core, you can't be that cool. That's just my hating theory.
That's fair.
Not to say he's not a bad person, but like I feel like if you get the Banana Boat together, Chris Paul is probably the most normal person, followed by D Wade, because Chris Paul is my height. D Wade
is followed by D Wade?
Yeah, D Wade's like 6'3". Have you listened to D
Wade? But you said the most normal person.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Explain that.
I'll say more relatable to common people and crack jokes that are actually funny versus just instead of guys who've been worshipped.
Right. Okay.
I see where you're trying to go with that.
I'm not going with it anywhere. I wanted clarity. You gave it to me.
But if you listen to like D Wade on 7 p.m. in Brooklyn, right? When you can tell he's comfortable and he with Melo and they like kicking shit, you go, oh yeah, D Wade is a funny nigga and he really be big brother and all of them niggas.
Right.
Like he's not impressed. Now, Paul Pierce and KG, I think there's some of the outliers out there.
Well, because they're kind of best of both worlds in a sense of you can tell them niggas actually just are That's how the niggas are. I mean, think about it. Paul Pierce, certainly, at least his post. Well, we knew this while he was playing. Think about it, nigga got stabbed multiple times.
Over women.
Yeah. Early in his career too. Like, I mean, he was, I think he was probably an all-star by then. He probably made one, but like, yeah. But you could just tell that's who that nigga is. He likes to have a good time. He likes strippers, alcohol, probably some blow in there somewhere. I wouldn't surprise me.
Likes pot too.
Yeah. So I mean, he's a nigga, just like KG.
And you know what though? They weren't really ever put on the forefront in the NBA like that to where they had to act super corporate. Because even though KG was the MVP, like household,
he was never the face of the league.
Yeah, he was never the face of the league, and because of how he played basketball, his intensity, you would never ask KG to be corporate. Like, it was socially acceptable for him to act like he did. Because you remember when they tried him out on TNT, he had the curse button when he would just press the button while he cussing people out. Because that's what comes with KG.
Yeah, that, and then not to be funny, he's also, I feel like in the earlier days of the NBA, of course, the tall guys were kind of marketed as the face, almost like how like Andre the Giant, like how bigger guys in wrestling are like pushed as to be the face of wrestling. I feel like that changed in the NBA once Magic and Bird came along, to where the tallest guy was no longer. I mean, you could say maybe Shaq, but I don't even feel like Shaq was just the face of the league. I never felt like he was the face of the league.
He was, if they had social media back then, he probably would have had the most followers.
I can tell you what, I almost allude his popularity to how, like with rap, how after that Biggie Pac thing, once the West Coast, East Coast thing died, there wasn't truly like a face of rap, right? From like 98 to like,
I don't feel comfortable.
Some people don't think it was Jay-Z, but like,
I don't feel comfortable having that conversation because I was too young.
But I'm just saying there wasn't really a crown post those guys dying. That's why it's DMX, Eminem, Jay-Z. Like, they're kind of just all grouped together until you get to Lil Wayne, right? Like, that's what it felt like.
I got you. I just can't I can't comfortably contribute to that. Cause I was just too young.
I guess I'm looking at it from that lens.
No, I think that's a great example. You're making a great point, and I probably would agree with it in a private conversation. But because I wasn't outside, although like I know, like I've listened to the albums, I like what I like, you like what you like, and we can kind of like rack and stack and listen to what other people say.
Mm-hmm.
But we know that there are Atlanta artists who don't get talked about outside of Atlanta who are highly respected in the Atlanta reign of hip hop, right?
Right.
Like, you take somebody like Rocco, even though he had like some commercial hits, niggas was waiting on a Rocco mixtape to drop back when he was a rapper. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now, I'm not saying he's face of Atlanta, but if you're not here, you're not outside, I don't think you could really speak to some of the more nuances of like power vacuums and stuff like that. Because sometimes a nigga had the streets and you could say, nah, that nigga's the face, but like you had to be there. So I don't know. Maybe I just stepped on.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, I see what you're saying. That's fair.
All right, let's get to show some structure. We're 30 minutes in. Do we want to go March Madness, NBA, or NFL all season?
I see. We might as well go. You said it first, anyways. March Madness, because now that March is over.
Yeah, it is over. I mean,
busted.
I didn't finish mine.
Well, my national champion is still in it. I took Houston to win it all, but of course, they've got the toughest matchup because right now it looks like Duke's going to win. To me, they're the team that's kind of been handedly beating teams. If you really have watched the game, they've been beating the shit out of everybody they played. And so it looks like they're destined. Then Cooper Flag can fall in the footsteps of guys like Melo. I know Melo obviously didn't go number 1 or number 2 for that matter, but guys that basically were freshmen that did it.
Anthony Davis.
Yeah, he falls in line with the long list of those guys that actually can do it, or at least that appears what they're going to do. I think Houston's going to be a tough out though, because they're such a good defensive team, and Kelvin Sampson, he's probably hungry to get one.
Yeah, I want him to get one.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not this year because I'm a Duke fan, but
I thought you were a Tennessee Volunteer fan.
Well, they're eliminated.
Well, yeah.
I support my alma mater, but I've been a lifelong Duke fan.
Yeah, Houston beat the dog shit out of them too. But yeah, it was. I mean, talk about suffocating defense. I think Tennessee had like 14 points in the first half. It was nuts.
Oh yeah, no. When I looked at the score at halftime, I said, I'm not turning this on. They ain't got a shot to.
Yeah, 14. That's a man. It was crazy just watching it because I was like, damn, they really can't get nothing. Like,
no.
But they had a good year, so you know.
I mean, Elite Eight is nothing to thumb your nose at.
Yeah. You don't scoff at that. But then on the other side of the bracket, you get Auburn and Florida. So you get an SEC championship rematch. Auburn, who was kind of for the most part a majority of the year the best team, they tailed off at the end, but then they heat back up in the tournament. They got Johnny Broome, who's going to be, regular Armando Bacot, a guy that's not going to get drafted, but for whatever reason, he's going to be the guy that everybody knows that played at Auburn. And then Florida, they've got Clayton Jr. That guy is, I don't know if you've seen any of it. He's the fucking truth.
Oh, yeah, he's been killing.
That dude's nasty. I don't see how, I don't know where he's at on the draft board. He'll probably be like a late first-round pick type player. That motherfucker can put the ball in the hole. And he's got confidence too. And that's kind of why I like Florida to beat Auburn, because of him. I think that he is the X factor in that game.
Well, I'll tell you, if Auburn doesn't do it this year, they're going to be in prime position to do it next year and moving forward. Because I saw today on Instagram, did not verify, that come June, they will become a Nike school. Give Bruce Pearl Nikes instead of them clunky ass Steph Currys. We got something.
Yeah, maybe it'll be a return to greatness in football too, huh?
I mean, I don't know. Probably. I mean, I would send a player there on NCAA now, because I sent a guy. I made a guy. We went to Auburn and I forgot they were Under Armour, and I saw those terrible cleats, and I said, "We're hitting the portal next year, buddy." I'll be damned.
Yeah.
But we're talking about Cooper Flag, and I pointed out Anthony Davis for kind of a specific reason. Cooper Flag has received a lot of hype. He's played some good basketball, and some have said he's going to be the best Dookie since Grant Hill. I saw
not Christian Laettner?
Best Duke pro prospect, sorry.
Okay.
And
Elton Brand went number 1.
I'm just telling you what the people are saying.
Zion?
Huh?
Zion?
Look.
Continue. I'm sorry. I'm just saying, but when I think of prospects,
yeah, I know. I'm trying to open it up for you to respond in totality.
I'll shut the fuck up.
Took the words right out of my brain.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're saying he's the best pro prospect since Grant Hill. Some are like ranking like the number 1 overall picks from like the last 20 years, and they're ranking him like 3rd, ranking him above Dwight Howard as a prospect, right? And I sit and think about it, and I've watched a couple games by Cooper Flag, and he's been a dominant high school player, dominant on the AAU circuit, dominant at Duke. But I think he's lucky if he's Anthony Davis. I don't see. I see the hustle. I see the IQ. He can shoot the 3. I don't see enough off the dribble consistently that I think works at the next level. And Colin Cowherd maybe said one of the worst things he's ever said in his life. He compared him to Jason Tatum. They played nothing alike. And honestly, I think Paolo is a better NBA player than Cooper Flag. I'd rather have. I don't think Cooper Flag can be your number one scoring option on the championship team.
That's fair. I guess it depends on the situation. Again, I mean that's what's gonna dictate to me. That always dictates a guy's future, right? Like, and look, we can do the whole what ifs, right? Like if you look at a guy like LaMelo, imagine if he went to Golden State. How does that change his career trajectory? The talent clearly was always going to be there, but what type of player would he be today? Would Clay have been gone earlier? Would they have gotten things for Clay earlier as opposed to just letting him walk? Like, it changes the trajectory of the league wherever you get drafted.
But hold on, but LaMelo is LaMelo. He's a one name guy.
Mm-hmm. If
you go up to the kids and say, "Who is Melo?" they're gonna say LaMelo Ball,
which is crazy. But
the guy we're gonna talk about shortly, first ballot Hall of Famer, has not only lost the opportunity to get his jersey retired where he started his career, but he's also lost his nickname.
Nuts.
We're talking about a all NBA guy, a top 75 guy, a guy who, when he stopped playing basketball, led United States men's team in Olympic scoring, a national champion, a scoring champion. A guy Kobe said was his toughest guard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And talking about Cooper Flag. Like, have you seen a part of Cooper Flag's game? Like watching Cooper Flag, have you ever seen him do something where it's like, you know what, I need a bucket, and you think Cooper can just go get a bucket?
I don't think his bag is like that, but it's hard to always do that within the context of college ball too, because of how college basketball is played as opposed to the NBA. I think the talent is there. Like, you can see the things he can do even in that bubble. And I just think it's interesting that how, like, the projection that they put, I think I might have sent this to you or you could have sent it to me, but they were like Kawhi Leonard, basically. Prime Kawhi Leonard was like the comparison. And I don't know if I see that because I don't think he's as strong of a defender as Kawhi.
I don't think he's a bucket like Kawhi. Kawhi is a fucking bucket.
Yeah, he's a ball player. And I don't know. It's always interesting when you start comparing players to players because no one is alike and everybody just wants to have this thing.
True.
Like, who the hell was LeBron James compared to coming out? It wasn't really Magic Johnson.
It was wrong. LeBron is
exactly. There was no LeBron James.
LeBron is once in a lifetime, but they're trying to put Cooper on that level. And I think they're only doing it. Well, you know why I think they're doing it. I'm not going to say it out loud, but he has not shown. I have not seen one part of his game that says that is once in a lifetime. Like he has nice size paws, right? He has nice athleticism. He has a motor. He can shoot. Like, he can catch and shoot. That's crazy too, right? But
boy, you are on a roll.
But none of that is
butter you up because you're on a roll. Old and one T-shirt, loved it. Sorry, when I said that, natural instincts.
But I haven't seen anything that says this is not duplicable.
Okay. Maybe so. But I go back to what they were saying about him on that select team over the summer. And KD and them seemed pretty fucking impressed, right? Like, they're considering, think about it, he hadn't even played a college game. And didn't he reclassify?
Yeah.
So he really could be a senior in high school this year. And
yeah, but he reclassified to his correct age group.
I don't usually get involved. I think this. At the end of the day, it'll be interesting to see where he goes. Because if he goes to the Hornets, obviously LaMelo's traded. Don't know where he could possibly go. Maybe the Clippers.
Keep LaMelo. Fuck it.
I don't think it's going to work. Because that's the type of guy, in a weird way, he's the type of guy that needs the ball in his hands. So, LaMelo.
Yeah, Cooper doesn't. I think Cooper, if you put the ball in Cooper's hands, I don't think you get the best version of Cooper Flag putting the ball in his hands, even if he has good numbers.
But I'm just, yeah, and see, I see him pairing well with Miles Bridges, though. Like, I can see the pairing there helping, right? Because they kind of play the same position a little bit. Because Cooper Flag's 6'9"?
That's what they say. We'll see at the combine because you don't know till the combine. You won't know until he gets his NBA height because he'll be barefoot and we'll get his real height.
Yeah. If he goes there, I don't think it works. The best situation for him really would actually be DC.
Philly.
I don't think you think that they're not going to. I tell you, I don't put anything past Adam Silver because we know how Adam Silver works and we know what type of person Adam Silver is.
I mean, Bron made it very clear that the ping pong balls, this ain't random. I mean, shit. Cleveland had 3 first number 1 picks after LeBron left, and a 4 pick.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Cleveland's had 4 first overall picks in 20 years. And if you really cut it off at when they drafted Andrew Wiggins, it was 15 years, 16 years? Yeah. 12 years, 2003 to 2015. 2014 draft, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
4 number 1 picks.
They're a lucky team. Remember, Dan Gilbert's son was the lucky charm for all those. I think he passed away, actually. But, he was their lucky charm. Some guys do have all the luck in the world.
Gilbert Arenas said LeBron was playing in the Cavaliers practice facility as a senior in high school.
Yeah. So, what's it to him?
That was an interesting takeaway from the McAfee thing that nobody talked about. And yeah, we're in NBA now. We're done talking about college basketball because we don't really care about it.
Prediction though.
Duke.
Okay. Duke, Florida, Duke, Auburn.
Duke, Auburn.
Then Duke. Okay. I'm gonna take a stab at Houston just because I already predicted it. Houston, Florida, Houston.
Fair. Okay, we're done with college. But LeBron said he didn't leave Akron until he went to Miami.
Real quick, only because it just popped up. Giannis, first player in NBA history with the 35, 15, and 20. He had 20 assists. Holy shit. So he had 35, 15 boards, and 20 assists.
Nowadays everybody want to talk like they got something to say, but nothing comes out. When they move the lips, just a bunch of gibberish. Motherfuckers act like they forgot about Dre. That's all.
I'm going against him in fantasy basketball in the championship too.
Like Giannis is putting up MVP numbers, and no one even knows.
What about the late fuck you 3?
I mean, when he hits it, he hits it.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it's a couple tonight against Steph Curry. By the way, for anybody who's trying to anticipate a Lakers-Warriors first-round matchup, not going to happen.
Why do you think that?
Why would Adam Silver lose out on getting LeBron and Steph in the second round against each other when he can have them in the first round and they carry the fucking Western Conference ratings? We don't want them to cut. We don't want, if we could make them meet in the Western Conference Finals and it's guaranteed, that's what we want. But if we got to make them meet, we want it in the second round. We don't want it first round. Because ain't nobody watching OKC Houston, bro.
What's wrong with OKC Houston?
Watch that. Drea don't even want to watch OKC Houston.
Maybe.
You think she trying to go to OKC for the away game? Or she gonna be like, nah, Jalen, I got the baby tonight. I'll just see you when you get back.
I think that he knows what's best for business. And again, we know who controls the NBA.
Are you saying who Kanye would say controls the NBA, or are you just gonna say who we know?
Sure, that is. I think it's one and the same, is it not?
No, I don't think it's one and the same. I think sometimes.
Oh, okay. But the fucking ping pong balls, huh?
Correlation doesn't necessarily mean causation, you know.
Sure, I guess. I don't know.
And that what they teach you like first day of stats.
Look, Lee, I'm gonna let this alone. All right.
Did you see Josh shoot his gun at Buddy Hield?
Josh and do who?
Did you see him shoot his gun at Buddy Hield?
No. Oh, Josh. It's not like you said Josh. Yeah, I saw that. They get apparently Buddy sent him one too. So
the NBA did an investigation.
As they should.
And both guys were informed that that's not an appropriate way to celebrate.
It isn't.
And then Ja had a little tweet talking about some Ja this, Ja that, pretty much saying that anytime Ja does something, people pay attention to it. And at what point does Ja Morant learn that he can't do what everyone else does because he was doing what everybody else wasn't doing? Or he got caught, which means he's still doing what they're not doing because they're not getting caught.
He's a nigga, and niggas don't learn. Look, a hard head makes a soft ass, right? They're just gonna take his money. I mean, that's all it is. He's gonna be one of these things where he's just gonna continue to lose money.
He lost the Supermax already. That's $50 million he lost. His Ja 2s got pushed back because he wasn't playing. He low-key would have been face of the league by now. Would have been him and Ant-Man going at it. But again, another nigga. They got too much nigga shit around them.
And why do you think that is?
Mainly because of social media. Because I'm sure a lot of other guys would be getting the Ant-Man treatment when it comes to the baby mamas if social media was around. Because why is TSR talking about Ant-Man paying all of his child support up front? And even the way they covered it, that's him clearly saying he doesn't care about the mom or the child. Or he just gave this woman $1 million and she should be able to go figure out how to make it through life for the next 18 years with $1 million advance that she doesn't have to pay back.
That's just how we logically look at it, Lee.
You think she's gonna be buying Birkins and going on trips with her girls, or is she gonna take that money, put it in a nice money market account, give it to some good investors, maybe buy some property here or there, and allow that child support money to grow into millions so that she and her child are sustained for the rest of their lives?
If she's smart, she'll probably do a little bit of one and a lot of the other.
And then find another basketball player?
Yeah. Well, she's got a little baby's kid too, right?
Oh, I get them all mixed up because I think Ant-Man had like 4 kids last year.
Duality. She's getting it from both ways.
Little DP?
Yeah, well, hey, at this point, that's the way it goes, right? Everybody is a lot of that industry in general, and I know it's 2 separate ones, but they're really one and the same. A lot of sharing going on. And so she probably will find a third guy. Don't they all? Drea did.
Bow Wow, Future's baby mama did.
Exactly. And it's all the same, industry. And these guys, they grow up like a guy like Green, right? He probably grew up seeing Dre on TV to a
Watching
degree.
Basketball Wives with his mom.
Watching Basketball, or, she was just always the hot bitch on IG anyways. Once he got in that position to have that kind of money, there was an easier, direct way for him to get in contact. He hit it once, and he said, "Oh, I got to stay here. I got to stay here. I can't leave here. This is home now. This is home."
I mean, being that he's
Don't you like to be comfortable?
I mean, being that he's in Houston, that's probably for his best.
He should be getting ready to come up on, in a weird way, just because of that's the way the NBA works. He should be getting ready to come up on that James Harden money. James was okay.
James was single.
I know, but I'm just saying. You're saying it's probably for the best that he got with Dre. I'm saying if he didn't, he'd be okay in Houston, just like James was.
He's not James, though.
I know, but he's about to. The way that the money's going, he's gonna make just as much as him.
I'm not speaking financially. I'm saying maybe he needs to be laser focused with a older queen at home to keep him focused on the bag, so he's not focused on all the other stuff. And he's only cutting up when he's on the road and he's coming back home, as opposed to cutting up on the road and at home. Because I tell you, me, if I got drafted to a city like Houston, knowing me and how I like to live anyways, well, I probably would have been a red flag coming out of the draft because of my off the field activities. I mean, this guy parties 4 nights a week.
Yeah. Well, hey, does he get his work done?
I mean, yeah, he gets his work done.
Does he do it at a high level? Is he functioning? Or is he just getting it done? Is he just getting it done, or is he doing it at a high level?
I like to say if I were a professional athlete, I'd be closer to James Harden, Allen Iverson.
And like, does he have an arrest record?
No, we're not going to jail.
All right, well then, does he look like he's getting out of shape?
No. But
I'm just saying, these are the questions. If I'm some guy that's running an organization and he's getting his work done and he's doing it at a high level, and he just likes some ass and titties and a little bit of alcohol here and there, hey, let's just make sure we got that fall guy around. Where's Keyshawn at? Keyshawn.
No. Chris Carter.
Chris, get us in touch with the guys that you know that can get us the fall guy. Because if anything goes down, as long as he's okay, he's not driving when he's partying, which these guys should never be driving in reality. I don't know how pro athletes drive, period.
So I've been told, I don't know if it's true, but like I've heard that I think in the NFL, it may be in all those pro leagues, like the teams typically have driving services for these guys.
Well, look, Kirby Smart needs to get with the program. And I know we're not on football, but he needs to hit them niggas up. They got enough money. They got enough money in Athens too to get that shit done. Have
you heard Kirby and David Pollock's comments about it?
Were they recent?
Yeah.
No, I haven't heard it.
Essentially, they're like, "What can we do?"
You can do that. You can get a fucking driving service for the guys.
These kids get this money. They get these fast cars, and they get on that Athens loop out there, and they just go wide open.
Kick them off the team. Go ahead, have that meeting, and say, "Hey guys, look, this is my Uber account. It's linked to everybody's account.
Hey,
use it."
You kick Jalen Carter off the team.
So be it. Hell, Randy Moss got kicked off Notre Dame. Randy Moss got kicked off West Virginia, right? He got kicked off or Miami. He got kicked Florida State. It's one of them. He got kicked out of the
Florida State. He got kicked off because of some shit that happened back home.
Yeah, I know. I'm not saying the reason. I'm just saying in general, they kicked off an amazing talent. And then Notre Dame did the same. Found his way at Marshall at the Heisman ceremony. Probably could have got drafted higher than even where he got drafted. Superstar rookie year. Rest is history. They can learn from that shit, especially if you care about the kid and not just the talent for your team.
Do you think Kirby cares about the kids?
I think that he genuinely kind of does. Like, I feel like he does, and that's why he's able to hold it somewhat together. And then when these guys get to the league, they're really crashing out. Same thing with the Alabama guys. I think that there is a sense in them that does care. I don't think that they don't really give a like a guy like Dan Mullen strikes me as somebody that doesn't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like there's certain guys just like, no, it's all about winning over
What
here.
about Dan Mullen?
Lane Kiffin, that's another one. I know he don't give a fuck. He cares about getting them. He got to get the W's. And look, it's not a Kirby problem. It's a UGA problem. Because Steve Spurrier famously said this when South Carolina would typically play them in week 2. But then they switched it at some point. He was like, damn, we really like playing UGA in week 2 because you could always count on there to be some guys missing. There's going to be guys suspended. And he knew that. So it's a Georgia problem. I don't think it's the coach's problem. It's a Georgia problem. It's been a problem. But not to sidetrack too much.
Hold on. But have you been to Athens?
Yeah, I've been to Athens multiple times.
Imagine being a football player in Athens with a wad of cash in your pocket and you know you're going to the league. Could you see how one could find themselves in certain situations at times?
If I was 18, 19, 20, and I'm at UGA and I've got a ton of money, and I'm honestly looking at this from my perspective of how I would have thought things through if I had some money. If I knew I was legitimately about to be a top pick, I would have held my shit together until I got to the league. Or I would have had it to where, man, hoes, they got to come to me. Like, they coming to me. Fuck me going out. They're coming to me. Like, everybody's coming to me. They're coming to me. God damn it. Me, goddamn it. They're coming to me, Lee. That's what we're doing. Matter of fact, somebody had told me Todd Gurley used to be fucking waxing ass in that fucking dorm room.
Duh.
But I'm just saying, think about it. And maybe because he was injured some of
No,
the times,
I mean,
but like
I ran into Todd Gurley at a bar downtown Athens.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean you can't go out. Like, that ain't the issue. But how often are you going out? Like, these guys, man, with that kind of money, I'm living on campus. We're having the party at the fucking crib.
I just want you to know you cap as fuck.
I'm not capping. If I know I'm going to be a top pick, it's one thing if you one of these fringe.
Hold on. Let me see if I can
get
get
7th round, 6th round.
Let me see if I can get Julian Turner on the phone.
He's in Mexico City.
Hey, Ju. Oh yeah, you're in Mexico.
What's up,
sorry, I was.
What's up, man?
Hey, listen to Pierce tell you this.
I'll put my headphones in.
Okay.
What's up, baby?
Listen to this from Pierce, and I want you to tell us if he's telling the truth. We're on the show. Hey, Pierce, let's do this again.
Go ahead.
No, you tell him. Tell him.
What you got to introduce what it is that you said.
Hey, so we're talking about the players at UGA and how they just keep getting in trouble, and it's been a thing for years, pre-Kirby, right? Niggas just at Georgia just get in trouble.
Hey, NASCAR speed racers, huh?
Now listen to what Parlay Pete says he would do if he were a student athlete at UGA.
If you're a student athlete at UGA and you play, if you know you're going to the league and you're gonna be.
No, you said you personalized it.
Yeah, I know. But this is what I'm saying. If I'm in that position at 18, 19, 20, and I know I'm going to be a top pick, a first, second, third, fourth round pick, bro, I'm telling everybody we're coming to the crib. Like, I'm not fucking just going out at that point, especially if you got that kind of money at that age. You're not just fucking going out like that.
Do you believe this guy as somebody who was in college with him?
Absolutely not. He's full of shit. He's full of shit.
All right.
He's full of living, blatant bullshit. And it's not because I don't believe what he's saying, but he's not putting himself back in the shoes of a young athlete, a young college kid, and with money and status and hope.
Hey,
The entire point of that is to be out and to be seen and to feel the love in the crowd and the basketball and to gloat in your own self image.
right. And Julian, think about it. He had the townhouse, right? But that Escalade was moving on the weekends, wasn't it?
Oh, hey, boy, the whole me and Mr. Hodges pulled up.
All right. Look, this is not about what I was doing in college. This is about what you would do if you went to UGA. You're a top pick, and you know it's coming.
No, what we're saying is, money aside, I'm a child psychology and mindset will overpower the money. It just makes it even 10 times worse. We can say that now as grown adults with money in our pocket saying, hey, this is the way you should move with maturity. There wasn't a lot of that going back around. And we didn't even have money. We moved around and did what we wanted to do because we have privilege or whatever it is. But imagine us with NIL bills. Imagine if you got $5,000 a week. Think about what we haven't done. Now times that times 10. Imagine if you were a top pick and your NIL deal is worth $5 million and you're getting paid $25,000 a month. There is no being inside here.
I'm driving my scat
This
pack
is crazy.
I'm driving.
I guess.
We will be a fucking menace.
Thank you, Mr. Turner. Enjoy Mexico because I hear music in the background.
Well, I hope I can see you guys on my post for anything.
All right, dog.
All right, Mr. Turner.
All right, brother. All right.
Yeah, bro. You can't.
Well, there you have it, guys. I'm full of shit. I gotta cut the malarkey. Is basically what everybody is trying to say to me. I don't know. Maybe you take the Caleb Williams approach and you get the penthouse and the hoes are coming to you. I mean, you're gonna be seen, no doubt. I'm not saying you would never go out, but I'm just saying when it comes to like the partying aspect of it, how often are you going out if you know you're a top pick? For one, you don't want to fucking die. Let's start there. Like, I mean, anything could happen. There'll be a nigga to try you up. You're on TMZ the next day. You whoop somebody's ass or get your ass beat one way or another. It happens. Now what? Like, it's just more unwanted stuff. I'm not saying that I would not have gone out. I'm saying I'm not going out the way these niggas are. And clearly their problem ain't bar fights and shit. It's driving, bro. Like, it's speeding in Athens, not in Atlanta, in Athens. Where you got this history of literally players from UJ that it happens, it feels like almost every month at this point. Sometimes twice a month. Somebody's died. Like, all this shit has happened and niggas are still doing it. Like, they're still doing it. I just feel like you got to learn from past mistakes of other people. And I know that experiences, it can be the best teacher for many, right? Your experience. Yep. But I don't know. But then again, you know what? You're also talking to somebody that's been charged with 3 DUIs. So clearly, you know, and 2 of those, well, only one of them happened in college. But regardless, maybe I'm not the best spokesperson for this because of that alone. But nobody would know that information unless I share it, you know? I
was trying to lead us there without saying that, which is why I was calling the cat.
It is what it is. I wasn't convicted, so
I know.
Clearly I didn't do anything wrong. That's cap. That is cap. I obviously did do something wrong. But, hey, police got to do a better job. They do.
We're so far from the NBA. Like, I don't even know how to circle this. Where do we go from here?
Here, let's do this just real quick with the NBA because we got only about a week left of the NBA season. So let's take a look at the standings real quick and just quickly go through what we believe will probably be that field as of today. And we're just gonna cut it off. I'm not gonna have the play-in teams. We're just gonna say who's in. So if the Cavs play the Hawks, we're looking at probably a sweep. The Hawks they might get one. They're probably gonna get swept.
They beat them twice this year.
Yeah, that was with Jalen Johnson, though. They don't have Jalen Johnson. They're probably going to they'll give them 2 tough-fought games here, and they won't win either of them. But they'll be tough-fought games. But they'll get swept. Celtics, Magic, underrated series in terms of the Magic bringing like toughness, especially if Tatum is still out. Nobody's even talking about the fact that he's injured. Like, I don't know how severe his ankle injury is.
Well, they don't talk about Jason Tatum at all. That's the problem.
Yeah, and we'll get to that too. But let's just say that's probably a 5-game series. The Magic will get one. They definitely get one, especially if he's hurt. Then next, it looks like it could be Bucks, but it'll probably be Knicks Pistons. I think that'll be a great series. I could see it going 6, but obviously I'm going to take the Knicks here.
Detroit in 6, baby.
Nah, give me the Knicks. And then probably the most entertaining series, Bucks Pacers. With the assumption that Dame is back, I'm going to say Bucks in 7.
Sure.
All right.
Celtics Cavs Eastern Conference Finals. Celtics.
Agreed. Yeah, I'm with you there. It's going to be it'll be the Celtics back.
I'm not going to watch much Eastern Conference first round.
Yeah, but then it gets real juicy here. So as of right now, this is how it's set up. Thunder 1 seed, Grizzlies 8. I think. Well,
Grizzlies are 8.
Yeah, they're the 8 right now. I'm looking at it. Well, it's a tie between the Warriors, Timberwolves, Clippers, Grizzlies. They all have the same amount of wins. But just as of today, we got to look at it today. Grizzlies, Thunder. Man, as crazy as it sounds, the way that the Grizzlies have been playing, they might get swept. They probably get swept in this series.
I think some Grizzlies players have
checked out.
Yeah. I think that was an organizational decision to get rid of the coach, not necessarily player fueled.
Yeah, because again, we're not going to get into the play-in, but they could get knocked. They might not win. So, but either way, let's just say that they're in. I think they get swept by the Thunder. What says you?
Yeah, sweep.
Okay. Rockets, Clippers. Give me the Clippers in 6.
Yeah.
I like the Clippers in 6.
Clippers.
Yeah. Lakers, Timberwolves. Lakers in 6.
Yeah, I think
maybe 5.
Yeah, I think that I don't know if we get that Lakers Timberwolves matchup. I think we'll get some moving around, but yeah. I'll say Lakers in 6. Ant-Man I have a 40 piece and they just won't have anything to do with it.
Yeah. And then you get Nuggets Warriors. 7-game series, no doubt, but I still like the Nuggets.
I like the Warriors.
And then what? Western Conference. Let's see. The Thunder would play the winner of that. To me, it doesn't matter who the Thunder play in the second round. If it is the Warriors or the Nuggets,
they're gone.
Yeah, I think that both of those teams can definitely be, because all they have to do is steal one. And so, but the Thunder, they really have looked great. Like, they looked fucking fantastic. If you just watch them, it's weird because there's so many guys on that team that nobody knows, and they're all really solid players.
Yeah, but I just think it's going to look a little bit different in the playoffs. I don't know if Shea has earned the playoff whistle yet from the referees. I don't know if those role players are actually going to show up and do what they're expected to do on a night-to-night basis. And don't get me wrong, like, they play great team basketball, but what happens once they make Shea uncomfortable is Jalen Williams really going to come in here and do what? Is he going to pick up the slack? Is he going to play out of his mind one day?
No, and it just sets up for KD to be in Oklahoma City next year. But and then you would get a Lakers-Clippers, which would be real testy. I think that's a 7-game series. I like the Lakers, obviously, but I think that would go 7.
I don't like that series. I want them on the opposite sides of the bracket.
So you want them to fall into the 4 so they get the Thunder in the second round.
Yeah, because here's what I think. I think the 4 best teams in the Western Conference playoffs are the Lakers, the Clippers, the Warriors, and the Nuggets.
So disrespectful to the Thunder.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to disrespect them. And you know what? We can probably clip this up and run it back at the end of the season, and I'll be wrong. But you know me. You got to show me first.
Oh, shit. John Morant did it again tonight.
So he's troll. Like, what did you say about it? He's just a nigga. He just
yeah. But literally, Legion Hoops just put this up on Twitter, and it's definitely the Memphis-Miami score at the bottom.
And the thing is, you know you're gonna get clipped up and aggregated. And that's my problem with Ja. When Ja tries to play this whole victim role, hey, do I think they went over the top for the IG live video? Yes. Do I think but Ja, you try to play the role of a victim, but you're trolling the league that pays you. And they've already shown you that if you don't play ball, you will suffer.
They've checked out, but like you said, they've checked out already too. So he probably really don't care.
But I guess maybe Ja's just like, fuck it. I'm rich. I'm richer than I ever thought I would be in life. And I've got myself set up that if I never play basketball in the NBA again, hold on, I'm good no matter what. But why not be able to be a billionaire doing what you love and just stop being a fucking idiot? Like, why the fuck would you do that shit again when the league told you not to do it? That's stupid. That's just spitting in your boss's face. And these niggas think that because, oh, well, I'm the player, I'm this and I'm that. Guess what? Until you cut the checks, you don't make the rules. Hey, people who always complain about being uncomfortable, not liking how you're being treated, and don't get me wrong, there's a difference between discrimination and you just needing to follow the goddamn rules, right? Okay, let's not get crazy here. But when you don't cut the checks, you don't make the rules. And if you don't make the rules, fall in line and shut the fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
Just like a woman who don't pay bills in the house saying, ooh, I think we should renovate. Well, who the fuck paying for it? You got some renovate money? No. Well, we ain't renovating right now.
These are great questions to ask. But top comment. I was watching with my kids, and I literally had to turn. Now, this person's trolling, obviously. And I literally had to turn my TV off. My 4-year-old son was asking what that gesture meant. I seriously didn't know what to tell him. I'm literally shaking and crying in anger. How can Adam Silvers allow this to happen under his watch?
Now, mind you, I don't think the NBA should really care about Ja doing the celebration because it's a celebration that a lot of people do, and it's very popular. But because Ja did it and Draymond did some real suck ass shit talking to the referee, yeah, like you was complaining about what Vando did to you. Yeah, you did that same sucker shit. I don't think this is a big deal, but because the NBA has said it's a big deal, it's a big deal. Kind of like Crown Forum, right? Crown Forum does not help you, does very little to help you graduate from college. You don't fucking need it. But Morehouse said you will do Crown Forum this many semesters to graduate, or you will make it up.
With community service is what they made us do. But
we had to write a paper that nobody.
Honestly, the community service wasn't even that bad. It sucked because the Hawks were playing the Wizards in the playoffs at that time. The Paul Pierce series when he made that shot.
That didn't count?
No, I think that was the one that did. No, he did it in the series before where it did. But yes, that series. And, the 60-win Hawks team that got swept by LeBron with no Kevin Love and, like, one game Kyrie. Like, it's just nuts.
Have you listened to Jeff Teague talk about that series?
He never beat him in his career. How crazy is that? In the playoffs, yeah.
But he said, Teague said at the All-Star, LeBron said, hey, I done figured y'all out. Teague was like, yeah, whatever, nigga. And what he figured out was we're going to get Jeff Teague on LeBron in the pick and roll.
Nothing you can do about it. But they didn't have – DeMar Carroll wasn't stopping LeBron. It didn't fucking matter who was guarding LeBron. Al Horford, it doesn't fucking matter. You can throw Perro and Teach, whoever the fuck they had at the time. Kent Bazemore, nigga. It didn't fucking matter who you threw at him. They didn't have an answer. And that was the issue.
Well, that's what, yeah. I mean, because even before that team, the other years, Joe was supposed to be the LeBron counter. No, not enough.
He offensively wasn't going to be able to keep up. And Joe's a bucket, right? Like,
yeah,
Joe, and which we had this conversation, and we just never brought it to air. Joe Johnson, do you retire too for the Hawks? I think he was he might have been a 5 or a 6-time All-Star as a Hawk.
I will retire it if he agrees to do ambassador stuff for the team. But if he's not gonna play ball, no.
How about Al Horford? Probably can't now with him, unfortunately. But
No,
he's like a 4-time All-Star as a Hawk.
The question will be, what does Al go into the Hall of Fame as?
Oh, a Celtic, no doubt. He's just gonna go in as because he's gonna get in. He definitely gets in with the Florida stuff too. He's definitely in.
So no.
He probably goes in as a Celtic just because not because he won the title there either. I feel like he just fucked with being a Celtic more than he did a Hawk.
Well, if he wants to go in as a Celtic, you ask them to put your jersey in the rafters, which they won't. So no.
But how sad is that? That would mean that over the last 20 years, Trey will probably definitely get his. As long as he's here another 5 years, he'll just get it because he's Trey Young. But if you look at the last 20 years, yeah, basically since Dikembe Mutombo got traded for Theo Ratliff, that would mean that the Hawks have had no players worthy of having a jersey retired.
And if you look at the way the team has played over the last 20 years, you would say this team no players deserve to get their jersey retired. Now think about it.
I mean, the Hawks have never won anything, though, ever. So that doesn't – I'm just saying that wouldn't be the reason.
Yeah, but I also think between Dominique, honestly, because Dikembe Mutombo a little bit different, defensive guy, shot blocks, and
ambassador for the league.
Yeah. Legendary stick man. You know, like
he's in Atlanta. He was in Atlanta, but he lived here too and everything.
Well, yeah, because he's a legendary stick man. But he and Rudy Gobert they're kind of the same kind of player who are gonna get remembered amongst.
But see, I don't know if they might retire in Utah just because, but like just because it's the Jazz.
He may not get his jersey retired, but I'm just saying, like, the type of players that they are, same type of player, right? Never gonna be in best in the league conversation or best, not even best at their position.
Dikembe is to me. I know what you're saying, but like to me, and not just because of the ambassador stuff. I just feel like center was such a weak position at the time when he was playing. Anyways, Shaq was the only. Vlade Divac. You start talking about Vlade Divac as like the third best center in the league, maybe second. Period.
Hold on. Pat, Pat. He played against Pat. He played against.
I'm talking about that too. I'm talking 98 to 2004, like that era. I'm not because even then Pat Ewing was on like when the Knicks went to the finals in '99, shortened season.
Yeah, he wasn't there.
Pat Ewing, yeah, he wasn't really. He was hurt. He was on the Knicks.
I know. I mean, he wasn't like they're playing. Not that he wasn't on the team. But the
David
point
Robinson's on the back end of his career.
Yeah, but the point I'm making is they were never like premier players just because of their style.
It's because the center position was so weak. That's why.
No. Because their game was not a fun game to watch. Dikembe Mutombo did not have an offensive game.
Correct.
So, like, I don't give a fuck if center is weak or strong, bro. Like, nigga, your skill set ain't what we want to watch.
But there were this is what I'm saying. There weren't any centers really that had that skill set.
Dog, it doesn't matter how many, it could be 0 centers. He was never the best center. He was never the best, like, dog, niggas didn't grow up wanting to be Dikembe Mutombo, bro. Nobody grows up wanting to be Rudy Gobert unless it's his little cousin. So the point that I'm making is for the Hawks, from Dominique to Trey Young, there hasn't been a person in the conversation for like best at their position in the league since. So none of these niggas should get their jerseys retired. Don't give a fuck if you were a good Hawk. You weren't a great NBA player. So if you're not a great NBA player, you shouldn't get your fucking jersey retired.
But that's not how it works. Like, know that.
No, because teams want to retire players' jerseys so they can hang around the program and they can use them as ambassadors and all that shit, and they can and have some jerseys up in the rafters because it looks cool. But Joe Johnson shouldn't have his fucking jersey retired. That nigga didn't do shit. Couple of All-Stars. Did he make all NBA in Atlanta?
He made a third team one year.
Okay, he made 1/3 team. That's not get your jersey retired.
I'm with you on the basis of overall. But this isn't a Hall of Fame. Exactly, but this isn't a Hall of Fame.
He's not even an all-time. But he's not an all-time Hawk who's like Like Matt Ryan,
All-time Falcon.
to me, he's not a Hall of Famer. To me, don't push back. Don't push back because that's not what we're here for. But he gets his fucking jersey retired and Ring of Honor guy. You know what I mean? Because he was the face of the Falcons. He was the MVP, a top 10 quarterback throughout from like year 3 until goddamn 2 years before he went to the Colts, right? You know what I mean?
Ja made a buzzer beater against the Heat to win tonight too. But Joe Johnson, back to him just real quick. 7 years in Atlanta, or I'm sorry, 8 years in Atlanta, 6 All-Star appearances. I feel like that warrants his jersey to get retired. I do.
Did he get out
He's a 6-time All-Star with the Hawks.
Did he get out of the second round?
No, he never did.
Okay.
But I mean,
how many
I blame that failure on that's an organizational failure too.
Sure.
Not that he was never going to be the best player on a team to do that. Like he wasn't going to be that.
So then why the fuck do you get your jersey retired?
Because of what he did do for the Hawks. There was stability. Think about how trash the Hawks were before he got there. Think about that. Think about how bad they were. They were so bad. That Jason Terry, Sharif Abdul-Rahim team, bro, those were bad teams. Dan Dickow, Lon Kruger, Terry Stotts. This is what the Atlanta Spirit ownership. It's Billy Knight GM. Like, think about the missed picks. They could have built the team better. Like, that team could have been better for him.
I got you, but just because you done had back-to-back shitty girlfriends and then you get a decent girlfriend and she kind of cool and all, don't mean you just put a fucking ring on it. It's just
I'm with you. You're more of the stance of moral victories are for minor league coaches, right?
Yeah, bro. Like we're talking about nobody being able to wear your number in the history of this franchise, and it's sitting up there. And every time somebody comes in this arena, whether it's for a game, a basketball game, a fucking tour, a goddamn concert, they see your shit up there. Joe Johnson do it at his fucking high school, do it at fucking Arkansas, but not in the fucking NBA. He wasn't that. And I love ISO Joe. I think he's great. I think he could bust a lot of niggas' ass today. Like his peers can't fuck with him today. But goddamn it, when it really mattered, yeah, you were top 24, top 30 in the league.
Lemon Pepper Lou. We should get a Lemon Pepper Lou retirement. Is what we should do.
No, and then like where I would say Vic should get his jersey retired for the Falcons because of the cultural impact. Again, it's not something that I'm going to like stand on a hill and say, retire his jersey. But it's cringy before Bijan to see number 7. Like when Younghoe
Koo.
That shit was cringy.
It's weird because you automatically associate that number with a player. And there's nothing anyone can do. Even with Bijan I think is gonna be great, but like it's still, even with him wearing the number, I'm gonna always look at it as Vic's number because it's Vic's number. It is Vic's number.
When you think of number 7 in the black community, I ain't even saying for the Falcons, number 7.
Yes, Vic.
Niggas are thinking Mike Vick.
I don't think of Kevin Durant.
when you think of number 7 for the Falcons in sports, oh, Mike Vick, nigga.
Yeah. But that goes to the cultural aspect. That's a culture thing.
But because of his cultural impact, I could understand why the on-field didn't necessarily say jersey retired, but his impact in Atlanta, pulling the franchise back up, giving the franchise some competence for a little while.
Putting us on TV.
Yes. People
actually wanting to watch us on national TV, getting Monday, Sunday, and Thursday night games before everybody started getting Thursday night. Because think about it, everybody didn't used to get Thursday night either.
No. And remember, probably not applicable to you because you went to the games, but there was a time if we didn't sell out, we would get blacked out in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm. No, I know about it though. Yeah.
With Mike Vick, ain't no blackout.
Yeah, no, they were always on. Gonna be on Fox at 1:00.
Yeah. I knew I was during football season. We didn't go to eat after church. My mama would cook because we were watching the Falcons.
Yeah, it one for sure. I see what you're saying.
Joe
with
Johnson,
that, in terms of why Joe Johnson doesn't deserve it. I get that. His play realistically wasn't great enough to deserve being memorialized for forever by a franchise that he didn't win anything with. And even as an individual player, he was a good player, but he was never a great player. So you think that that's reserved for only even if you don't necessarily win an MVP or win a Super Bowl or NBA Finals or anything like that, that is reserved for truly players that were great during their time. And even for him, he's not somebody that played his whole career there either. So that is another layer that you can kind of add to it. Vic will never get in, obviously, because of the off-the-field stuff. That would be my thought. He got his moment that last game, the last regular season game at the Georgia Dome, where they did let him. They actually acknowledged him, which is something they weren't doing prior to that. That was his moment for that. But
and now he's on the intro video.
Yeah, he gets. Do they sell the jersey? Is 7 being sold at the stadium? I don't know. I don't know only because I've never bought a jersey in the stadium, but
it's weird to buy a jersey in the stadium.
I got to get one for this upcoming season because now I don't have any current fucking players.
This guy.
So I might do it at like the draft party or something.
Are you going to the draft party?
Hell yeah, I'm going. I took Mariano last year. Me and Mari went.
So I should go ahead and claim my ticket.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. That it's an excuse to go out. For one, we're going to be watching anyways to a degree. I mean, I don't really, you're not, but it's an excuse to go out and drink and you're around other Falcons. They actually do a great job. They had kid events. So like Mari got to, like they had slides. You
you remember we recorded after.
Yeah. And so it is great. I mean, I enjoyed it. They always do a good job.
And that gives me an excuse to go to 10.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I'm always looking for an excuse to go to 10.
And where do we pick? We're 15.
15,
so you don't even have to get there for the first pick. You can hang out downtown. We can get a steak dinner, then go like early, like the 5 o'clock, 5:30 type tea time. Do that and then head in there and see what we end up doing. It'd be fucked up if we trade down.
It depends on what we get and how we do it. But hey, I wanted to back to that Joe Johnson conversation. Takes me to Carmelo Anthony and him
Atlanta Hawk great.
Right. And him being a first ballot Hall of Famer, goes without saying. It's hardly a topic for me. Like, congrats to Carmelo. Like, great career. Happy he got it. I mean, but when you're top 75, we know you're going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, which I appreciated your response in the group text because that's exactly why I sent it. To pretty much say that,
no shit.
Yeah, pig is pork, ink is black, and pussy's pink, right? But does Melo get a statue or a jersey retirement? And if so,
he definitely gets it with the Knicks. They're going to do it just because culturally, if anything. Think about how the Knicks were. The Knicks were really – think about it, bro. There was a point in time, the Knicks weren't even on TV. The Knicks, like, you had the expiring old Allen Houston type contract. Sprewell was already gone. You had Starberry. That was like their selling point with Stephon Marbury. And, like, them niggas were always ass. Like, they had overpaid players and they weren't winning anything. Like, they didn't win shit. They didn't go to the playoffs. He's going to get it just because of that, because it kind of, in a weird way, sets up, I guess, this Knicks team maybe to a degree. I don't know. But, like, he's going to get it there. By the way, 7, I don't think of Carmelo either, right?
No.
In New York, I feel like even if you ask a nigga who's first player that comes to your mind, you think of 7, they should say Mike Vick, not Carmelo Anthony.
Because Melo is 15 to me.
Yeah.
And I really hate that they did not
check Jokic.
And maybe because of how he left Denver, they didn't retire the jersey. But, you usually don't let niggas wear it.
Right.
Because I think – no, never mind. I'll take that back. But yeah. And then Joker gets it, and he ends up being a better player. So he's going to get the statue. He brought the championship. He has the 3. hopefully 4 MVPs at the end of the season. And he gets the stuff that Melo probably would have gotten from the Nuggets simply if Jokic wore 14.
Mm-hmm.
Because before Jokic, they had made a deep run before Melo. He had Denver on TV. He had niggas all over the country wearing Denver jerseys and wearing them and getting the headbands. And you know what I mean? Like, like Melo made Denver a thing. Like, niggas played on live with Denver because of Melo.
He was on the cover of 05.
Yeah, Melo, Flalo and them, you know what I'm saying? Nene, some years
Birdman before he was with the Heat.
Yeah, Birdman. You had some Chauncey Billups. You had J.R. Smith. Andre Miller, AI, Marcus Camby.
George Karl.
Eddie Nahara.
Right.
Yeah, George Karl. That was the problem because, you know, he told Melo, I see you being deadlift Swift.
Yeah.
But you know what?
They should retire it. But the issue, obviously, is the Jokic thing. Yeah. I think that you can retire the number and make it dual in a weird way. I mean, it's hard to do it because Jokic is literally one of the – even if he didn't play another game of basketball, he goes down top 15 all time today. Melo's not higher than him on the –
No, Melo's not higher than him, but I don't necessarily think – the way that basketball media is constructed today, Joker would necessarily be top 15. I agree that he probably should be top 15, but I don't know if – think about it. Jokic or Shaq?
Today? I'm going to be honest, man. I think I lean Jokic.
I should say Jokic. And I'd only say Shaq because I'm being Stephen A. Smith with LeBron James. You know what I mean? Because it's my generation.
Yeah.
But Jokic has 3 MVPs. Jokic hasn't played with another all-star, really nothing. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, that does not mean he's not played with high-level players because there are some all-stars, multi-time all-stars who aren't better than Jamal Murray, but it's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, right? But he hasn't played with players who have real accolades. And, bro, this nigga is, and this may take us into the MVP conversation, but he's really 30, 12, and 10 and top 10 in the league in 4 of the 5 major statistical categories, while also shooting at a high clip. Like, nigga just had 60, 10, and 10. I get that it was a double overtime game, but he had a 60-ball triple dub.
Never happened before.
Like, we thought the James Harden, you know what I'm saying, 50 triple dub was crazy. Like you gotta understand, a 60-point triple double is like my player stats.
Didn't he have a 20-20-20 game this year?
Something like that, yeah. You know, Russ
it was. Hold on, I'm about to see. Yeah, it was. He had 30, 22, 21. Get the fuck out of here. When people look back at Jokic 20 years from now, they're gonna look at it the same way niggas were looking at how we look at Wilt Chamberlain's numbers.
Yes, like who was it? Somebody I was listening to was saying, "Bro, this nigga's Wilt." It looks different, but he's Wilt.
In today's NBA, he is. That's the point. It's like he shouldn't be doing that as a center.
And if we're being honest, Wilt was in the GOAT conversation until MJ. And then MJ was the first GOAT with the marketing campaign behind him being the GOAT, which is why I think he's actually the GOAT and sits the way he does above everybody. Just wait for these old niggas to die or stop talking to a microphone. But like what Jokic is doing is absolutely nuts. Like I listened to Teague and them say this. Niggas like low key having like the best season ever.
He's averaging 30, 13, 10, 2 steals, and a block. Oh, and he doesn't average over 2 threes made in a game. He averages under 2 made threes a game. In a league where shooting the three that is the NBA now, and he's doing it without the 3 ball.
Hey, let's stay here for a second, right? Because this is just just all over the place pod, right? The NBA is moving towards the 3, right? Because of just their statistical data, all of that stuff, analytics, right? But outside of the Celtics, who happen to have a lot of good fucking shooters, like their team is built to shoot the threes the way that they do. Cleveland is not a 3-point shooting team.
Nope.
They score. Denver isn't a 3-point shooting team. OKC is not a 3-point shooting team. The Lakers play their best when they're shooting threes, but they're not a great 3-point shooting team. The best teams and the best players aren't doing all the 3 shit. And even if you look at your peak Golden State Warriors teams, they weren't shooting nearly as many threes as the teams are today. But if you look at like points per game, I don't want to get into points per possession, but points per game, they're not dramatically higher. So yes, the 3 gives you the opportunity to score more points, but that shit don't actually win and work. It doesn't. The Warriors were an anomaly. Boston, they can score at all 3 levels. Yes, they shoot a lot of threes, but when Jason Tatum decides to be good, he can score from anywhere on the floor. When Jaylen Brown decides to go down, to put his head down and go right, you can't fucking stop him. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
the best players in the league, the best team, like Kevin Durant, fuck it. You know why the Suns suck? Because their 3 best players score out of the mid-range, and it's just too much overlap. If they replaced one of those 3, it doesn't matter which one, with a 3-point shooter, they'd be good. It's just too much. It's just, if everybody's trying to work here, then nobody can work here. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But
They're just a
think about
terribly
it.
put together team.
Yes, but Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, KD's averaging like 27, Book's around 25. They're not getting it out. They're not relying on the 3 to get their buckets. Giannis, he's averaging 30. Nigga shoots less than a 3 a game. Brunson shoots a lot of 3s, but Brunson gets to the cup. He shoots the midi. Kyrie gets to the cup, shoots the midi. Steph, floater, midi. You know what I mean? Like, DeMar DeRozan, over 20,000 points. Shoots the midi. And just
he stepped his 3-point output up a little bit more this year. But yeah, I give yes overall.
But like, if you look at ESPN or look at your fantasy app playing basketball and you see that DeMar went for 35, you're not shocked.
Walking bucket.
So I'm just saying all of this to say, I don't even know how I got here, but the 3 is important. But if the wrong person is taking the 3, it's not a good shot. If you're open, more times than not, you're open for a reason. Sorry. Thanks for letting me rant. They don't let me rant on the Village Vets. They just like start talking over me. I'm gonna start cutting their mics when I do rants on that pod.
Yeah. But you don't think it'll pick it up on your end too?
I can turn down the sensitivity a little bit so that like it's on me.
That's what that top-notch fucking equipment will do for you. Anyways, again, and we went from jersey retirements to this to Melo. Back to that to close that out. Yes, I think Jersey gets retired in New York. They should maybe do it in Denver, but they're going to wait until Jokic's career is over. They're not going to do that shit while he's still playing. So, and that could go on for another 8, maybe even 9 years, possibly. Who knows?
They have to retire Jokic's first, though, don't they?
That's what I'm saying. And but it'd be weird. They probably can't. It's actually, you know what? The more I think about it, they're not going to retire Carmelo's number.
No.
It's going to be retired as Jokic, and maybe Melo gets honored, possibly. He didn't, but for what it's worth, Melo ain't win shit there. So, I mean.
But here's the difference between Melo not winning shit there and like a Joe Johnson not winning shit for Atlanta. He's a top 75 player, multiple time All-NBA player. Should have been Rookie of the Year. He had a better rec. He got to the playoffs in a tougher conference and had better numbers.
His numbers were better than LeBron.
Yeah, like, and I don't. Melo's supposed to have his jersey retired in Denver and in New York, right? Like if we're just talking about who Carmelo was and we watched his entire career, right? You go, yeah, Melo should get his jersey tied in New York, and Denver. Just saying it out loud, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Hopefully Melo can parlay his podcasting into like a job with Amazon or NBC, because I think he needs to be our generation's Charles Barkley, and not that he's the same type of personality, but he needs to constantly be on the national stage talking basketball so that the proper research is done on him and they can show little blooper highlights here and there, talk about his game, have a champion shit on him. You know what I mean? Like, Melo needs to stay in basketball conversations, because one of the reasons, as I've gotten older, I don't speak on previous generations as much anymore, because I see how much the media shapes how we can view players that we didn't watch. But if Melo like disappears into the abyss, he's not going to be talked about properly. You know, Karl Malone isn't spoken about properly because he's not around, or so I think. Based on his accolades, his stats, he's not spoken about like he should be.
As highly as he should be, right?
Right. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has a very strong case for being the GOAT, but he's in nobody's loud GOAT conversation. Tim Duncan has a GOAT case. He doesn't touch that conversation.
Best power forward. I can't.
No,
I can't get with best player ever.
I wouldn't call him best player ever, because I watched his career, and when I watched it, I never thought he was better at basketball than Shaq. I don't care what the accolades say. I don't think he was better at basketball than Kobe. I don't care what the accolades say. Like Tim Duncan, you talk about somebody who fell into something perfect. He fell into a playoff team, a 50-win team. Tim Duncan was never on a bad team. He never had bad players around him.
That's true. I don't think the Spurs never missed the playoffs with him.
No, they didn't start missing the playoffs until like the end of DeMar and LaMarcus Aldridge. Because Kawhi and Aldridge won 66.
You think Aldridge, for one, you think he gets in the Hall of Fame? And then two, do the Blazers retire his number?
Hopefully no to both.
Okay.
He probably gets into the Hall. Like,
I'm about to pull it up. Keep going.
But I don't retire. The only Blazer who gets their jersey retired from me watching is Dame.
7-time All-Star. He made 4 of those in Portland. Or I'm sorry, he made 4 in Portland. He made 3 he's a 5-time All-NBA player.
Okay.
Let's see, college-wise, he's got a DPOY, first team Big 12. Texas didn't win. He was pretty good at Texas, though.
Yeah, no, I wish he could have came back for his sophomore year.
So
because of him and KD.
So when I look at his statistics and his averages and stuff, he really is Chris Bosh. I mean, that's what the numbers say. The numbers say he's Chris Bosh. He's a 19-8 averager. That's basically Chris Bosh for his career. That was Chris Bosh. But Chris Bosh was a Heedle.
Yeah.
So
and that's the difference. And sometimes that's the difference. It's where you do it, you know.
He's basically Chris Bosh. They're about damn near the same fucking player.
Hey, thinking of Chris Bosh, that nonsense that Stephen A. Smith said, wow, I called him Stephen A. Smith, saying that Melo was supposed to be in the Chris Bosh role, which cool, but if they would have had Melo, they would have won 4 rings in those 4 years. And I go, I don't think so. I mean, maybe.
Check this out real quick while you're saying that. Only because I had to pull up Bosh just to make sure. Numbers are literally the same. They're 19-8 and 2 assists. Their numbers are actually it's crazy. Numbers are the same. Obviously, he's got the 2 chips. He's only made 1 All-NBA team his entire career. But he's an 11-time All-Star to his 7.
So let's think about All-NBA in Chris Bosh's career. He came in 03.
He's an All-NBA second team in 07. So basically the year, but not the year before, but the height of probably right before they gave him whatever max he got with the Raptors. Yeah.
When Toronto started getting some TV games.
Yeah.
But think about this. Fuck. So what?
He's also an Olympic gold medalist, and LaMarcus isn't. He was never on the Olympic team.
So LaMarcus came in the league in what, 07, 08?
06.
06. Yeah. So they're only 3 years apart, and Aldridge has 5 All-NBAs, and Bosh has 1?
Yeah, only 1.
And Aldridge played more years than Bosh. I mean, Bosh had the injury thing in the blood clot.
The blood clot. Yeah. I think you have to put Lamar. He probably gets in just because of how the NBA Hall of Fame works.
If Bosh is basketball Hall of Fame, if Bosh gets in, LaMarcus has to get in because LaMarcus and what he can control, LaMarcus had a better career. Like all NBAs mean something to me.
Well, and I look at it this way. It's the same thing with the All-Star selections in a sense. Look at the guys who don't start in the All-Star game but are constant fixtures. Like people forget in the early 2000s, like that mid-early 2000s, Dirk and Steve Nash, those were guys, they were never starters in the All-Star game in those years. They weren't starters until Steve left. Steve left, he becomes a starter because he's winning MVPs. Dirk wins an MVP. It's weird how it worked out for them statistically and for their legacies not being on the same team, even though they will always be a great what if, because you would think, they're a perfect tandem, really. 2 white guys that aren't white. They're white, but they're not American.
2 non-American white guys who came into a predominantly black league in a country that they are less familiar with, and they bought in with each other, and they end up being great. And they're in the argument for top 5 in their position.
Correct. And then they're in Dallas, and they had maybe the most colorful owner in NBA history. Unique situation. And obviously Dallas ended up getting their ring finally, but that's a great what if. But point being, you look at that era, those were guys that were stacking up all-stars, always being reserves. Paul Pierce being another one. Because for the longest, I don't think Paul never started in an all-star.
Sorry to cut you off, but thinking back to this LaMarcus and Bosh shit, Bosh's extra all-stars make a lot of sense because he was in the East his entire career. Where if LaMarcus had a good year, it was good, but LaMarcus was still like Tim Duncan was still alive.
Dirk Nowitzki was still a guy.
He dealt with a year or 2 of KG in the West. Then you start thinking about the small forwards. You got T-Mac. You know what I mean? You got golly, who were other small forwards in the 2000s in the West? Oh,
Here,
well, you got Amari. You got Sean Marion. I'm just thinking of forwards, right?
So I'm looking at. I typed in the 2006 NBA All-Star just so I can see who was on the teams. So, yeah, when you look at just 06, because this is just a good little midpoint. So in the West, you start talking about Duncan, McGrady are your starting forwards.
Yep.
But then on the bench, it's KG, Sean Marion, Dirk Nowitzki, Elton Brand. So that's kind of just giving an indicator for that. And then when you look in the East, you got Jermaine O'Neal, who I guess was
06 Jermaine O'Neal was like that, yeah.
Yeah, you got him, Chris Bosh, Paul Pierce, Rasheed Wallace, who, but see, Sheed's jersey would never get retired anywhere. He's not a Hall of Famer, though. And so he would be great in today's NBA, of course. But
I think Rasheed's problem, and he said this, and I truly believe it, that he was a team first guy and he wasn't chasing buckets. I can believe that.
So then even when you move it up a year, you go to 07, pretty much the same guys, same cast of characters in the East. Bosh actually starts this year. Him, Wade, and LeBron all started with Gilbert and Shaq. Very interesting.
Wow, that is so interesting because you got the Heatles and then Gil and Shaq, and you know Gil and Shaq's history too, right?
Yeah, Shawnee.
No, not Shawnee.
Well, not the women. Yes.
Yeah. You know, Shaq. He,
Mm-hmm. But then when you go back to the West, you get KG and Tim starting again. You forget how good this guy was with the Jazz. Carlos Boozer.
Oh yeah,
Darren Williams. They were kind of fixtures. They were always a playoff team.
Did Carolina make an All-Star game?
Not in this year. You know what's crazy? I'm looking at this year, 07. Sean Marion made it again, which I guess the Matrix was kind of a fixture too. But look at the guys that got in. Now, a couple of these are injury in the West. Like Josh Howard made the All-Star team this year. Mehmet Okur made it with the Jazz. And Amari Stoudemire is another player that we kind of forget how good he was with the Suns because of the injuries. But that was another guy that LaMarcus Aldridge would have to deal with in a sense. And this is the Vegas All-Star game at that.
But with all of that, LaMarcus was still making all NBAs.
So look, and that's why I'm going year by year just so I can really see who was making it. Dirk again, Boozer again.
Go to all NBAs. Go to the all NBAs when LaMarcus.
Think about it. David West made a couple with that's another West. I'm just saying that's another Western Conference player. But David West had made a few.
Check all NBA. Check all NBA because that's what I really want to see. Because
the East was weak as fuck.
It was
weak as fuck.
But all NBA puts the whole league together, and Aldridge, which we're probably spending way too much time on Aldridge Bosh conversation, but fuck it, we're here.
No, it's worth it.
But let's see those all NBAs.
All right, hold on. I'm scrolling. Let me get to that error. All right, so we'll start with let's just start in 05. No. We'll start in 06. So your all NBA team in 06, 07 is
I only care about forwards.
Okay, first team, it's Dirk, Tim. Then it's LeBron was second team that year. LeBron, Bosh are the second team. Then KG, Melo are the third.
Okay.
Then you go 07, 08, Bron, KG, then Dirk, Duncan, then Boozer, Pierce. Okay. So that's the year that KG went to the Celtics.
Yep.
Then the next year, Bron, Dirk, Pierce, Duncan, Powell, Melo. So think about it. So Powell was still being considered, which I guess he was a power forward.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was always a power forward.
Well, they kind of moved him to center, but yeah, when the Bynum thing, yeah. Next year, then look at how this transitions so quickly. Next year, Durant, right? Exactly. Durant, LeBron, Melo, Dirk, Pal, Tim. So he was never – the fact that he got 5 out of this is actually kind of wild.
Because
I guess Dirk and Duncan are kind of – this is the back end, though, too, for them. They were still really good, but this is like the back end, starting to be the back end. Next year, Durant, LeBron, Pal, Dirk, Aldridge, Zach Randolph. Next year. So think about it. So basically, I'm not even going to tell you first team because literally every year it's going to be LeBron Durant.
Yeah.
So we're going to just skip the first team every year. Then it's Love, Griffin.
I forgot about
Melo.
those. I forgot about K Love.
Love, Griffin, Melo, Dirk. Then the next year, Melo, Griffin, David Lee, Paul George. Then Griffin, Love, then George, Aldridge. Then Aldridge, Gasol, Griffin, Duncan. Then, okay, now it finally changes. So now it changes from the KD one. Because remember, KD would get hurt too.
Yeah.
So actually, the year before that I'd already skipped, it was Bron AD.
Damn, he did have the AD. Yo, what Aldridge did making all these All-NBAs, he's a fucking Hall of Famer. There's no question about it.
And that's why I brought it up. Because I'm thinking, because we're talking about retired jerseys, and I'm like, well, LaMarcus Aldridge was such a good player. Then you compare the stats, and I'm like, well, him and Chris Bosh had the same numbers. But Bosh isn't making any of these teams.
No.
You know, and then wait, one more, because then the next 2 years it turns into this. Kawhi LeBron. The next 2 years is Kawhi LeBron. Then it's KD Draymond, Paul George Aldridge, then KD Giannis, Jimmy Draymond. Wow. Draymond.
That was DPOY Draymond.
Then it goes back to KD LeBron, Aldridge Giannis, Jimmy George.
Damn,
then this year, this is a year where it's kind of different. This is the Paul George MVP case year. He's first team with Giannis. Then KD, Kawhi are the second team. Then Blake and LeBron are third.
Is that Blake in Detroit?
Yeah. Yeah. And this is LeBron's first year in LA. He was third team. Because he got hurt. That's like the first time he really got hurt in his career. So
yeah, he deserved, bro. Yeah, hey, shout out to LaMarcus Aldridge. He deserves more respect on his name, and I'm really happy that we unpacked this.
Well, you were talking about how the players that we've seen, and that's why I said, well, is he a Hall of Famer? And I'm like, I think so.
I remember him being fire as fuck because, you know, like he got some 40 balls, some 50 balls on his name.
Before he went to the Spurs, he was a big fish that free agency. He was like the big fish. Everybody was like, man, can we get LaMarcus Aldridge in LA? Like people were trying to get LA. Remember, it was LA in LA is how they were trying to pitch that shit because they missed out on Melo because Melo took the money, and nobody's mad at Melo. He didn't want to team up with Kobe. Understood.
I didn't want to watch.
Yeah, but you know, you wanted to get Kobe somebody at the end. LaMarcus Aldridge would have made a ton of sense. Big man, LA could have still played with Kobe. They would have been possibly a playoff. I don't know. They would have had to build that team out.
No, niggas weren't trying to play with Kobe, bro. Too much pressure.
But it was the end of Kobe. You know, that's why they got guys like Timothy Mozgov, Will Dang, and Jeremy Lin. You know, like that. Those are the guys that they started to get around him.
Too much pressure, and Kobe wasn't the same Kobe. It's like,
but how much better could Kobe have been if he did have somebody to take the pressure? Because he was already not going to do it anyways.
But would he allow?
Older. He was still going to be but Kobe could have still been a 23 a night guy.
How efficient?
With some, who knows? I don't know. It's an older Kobe. This is like Andrew Kobe.
The efficiency matters because if I need to get to my 25, 26, but Kobe's going to get to his 23 first. If Kobe ain't hitting, Kobe's still shooting, and ain't nobody going to say nothing to Kobe.
Because you can't.
I mean, but you should be able to. Ty Lue told LeBron to shut the fuck up.
Because he played with Kobe and Shaq.
So, in culture, Parlay Pete, what has?
Well, if we're getting to culture, I think.
We're 2 hours in, man.
Yeah. Well, hey,
guys. No NFL this week. Okay, we're not.
It's slow. It's a slow week in the NFL. There's nothing truly there aside from Kirk Cousins, because we missed last week. Aside from Kirk Cousins, let's at least hit this. Aside from Kirk Cousins being spotted at a Chipotle in fucking Cleveland, but
they're gonna trade for Kirk Cousins because they're not taking Shedeur anymore. They're gonna take Abdul Carter. Got it. Cool. Just send over the 3. All right, let me play this. Let me play this for you.
Not if Aaron Rodgers fucking retires.
They can't retire.
Steelers they're gonna get frisky.
Hold on.
They'll send the 3.
I'm your Huckleberry. Why, Johnny Ringo? You look like somebody just walked over your grave.
Fight's not with you, Holiday.
I beg to differ, sir. We started a game we never got to finish. Play for blood, remember?
I was just fooling about.
I wasn't. And this time, legal.
Yeah. For those at home that don't know who that clip was, that is Val Kilmer in his role as Doc Holliday in the legendary, arguably the greatest Western of all time, Tombstone. Super famous line there with the "I'm your Huckleberry." That's a very, very famous line in cinema history. But we kicked that off just to pretty much give a RIP shout out to Val Kilmer, probably one of the more underrated actors, really, of his time. I thought always was a really good actor in a lot of the movies, at least that I watched. Obviously, he's pretty good in Heat. He's great in Tombstone. I don't know how he got robbed if he didn't win the Academy Award for that, but he was great in that. Many people remember him as Iceman in Top Gun. And then, of course, for our generation, anyone that remembers the Batman movie, Batman Forever, he was Batman in that movie, the one with Tommy Lee Jones and Jim Carrey as the Riddler. So, yeah, RIP to Val Kilmer. Which, that Batman movie gets too much hate, by the way.
RIP to Val Kilmer. So what else in culture do you want to talk about?
Well, we didn't get to do the pre-production to really start doing our almost like we're at a fucking Pokemon tournament and start pulling out our BBL cards on who should have really been in that BBL madness.
Oh yeah, I can't even. I don't even know if I can do that. But I think we did not give JT enough respect.
Who did she face in that first round? It was like she was like the 15. I forgot who the 2 was, but
she popped up into my algorithm this week, and I was like, oh man, yeah, that's nice.
I might need to check out what you're talking about. Let's see.
Young Miami's mama looks all right too, though. No disrespect.
I don't think any could be taken.
Well, you just never when you're talking about someone's mother, so I just wanted to make sure I was speaking on her properly because we don't want to be rude here because again, it's someone's mother.
Well, this is a child-friendly program, apparently.
Fuck it ain't.
Okay.
Would you let your kid watch the show?
If I told her beforehand, yes. Because I'd button it up.
No, I'm just saying, would you just like
watch a rerun?
I just pull up the link on the iPad and just say, hey, watch Daddy on TV.
She wouldn't be interested, so.
But you're not answering my question. Would you show it?
I'm not a cartoon character, you know? But yeah, I would. Because she wouldn't listen. So
maybe you should run for office.
I don't kiss enough babies.
Let me see. I'm trying to find something here in our conversations that would lend to culture. I mean, we didn't really talk about the big U Rico, but that's not really our wheelhouse. We don't really talk about the streets nonsense.
Well, we're not West Coast niggas anyway, so
Well, I guess we should take some time to pay homage to young Scooter. Rest in peace.
oh yeah, well of course, yeah. R.I.P. to Scooter. Obviously he was never the face of Atlanta, which is fun because we were talking about the face of even like that, but was always one of the more underground-ish type of guys that really only had his pop here because he didn't, Columbia, I guess, became somewhat of a hit everywhere.
Yeah.
But he doesn't get the credit that he deserves for being a part of the FBG movement with Future and Rocco. Because in a weird way, if that's the president and the vice president, he was like, third in command.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
damn
shame how that happened too.
Yeah, and I'm not comfortable speaking on it, on his cause of death and what I think, because it's just so conflicting. And I talked about this on the other pod earlier this week. Is that I just hope that in our Black community, I was just going to say our community, but I got to make sure people understand who specifically I'm talking about. Is he ran out when the police showed up. I want our Black people, especially Black people who've attained some level of success and made some money, legal, legitimate money, to not feel like they have to run out the back door when the police come. They can just go to the door and say, "Hey, officer, what can I do for you?" Or have the money to, well, if you have a felonious amount of weed in here and we smell weed, yeah, we're gonna get this, but we're gonna like plead this down and you're gonna pay a couple of fines. You're not gonna do any real time because you're not committing like real crimes, And this may be too soon, it may be disrespectful, but him running out of the back door speaks to two problems. It's the distrust of law enforcement in the Black community, which is well deserved. Now, I'm not giving, and also speaks to niggas not giving up the streets when they don't have to be in them anymore. Like, it's one thing to be young and grow up in the streets and you're in the streets, but you don't know any better. You've never had success elsewhere. I could still say you should seek success elsewhere. But when you've made legitimate money and you know better, let's do better. Like, I'm pretty sure he has kids. It was his 39th birthday. His father probably still alive. You got people who care about you and who are relying on you. So let's try not to put ourselves in these situations to where we feel like we have to do that. And I don't think it's wrong to tell a 39-year-old man who had a fucking hit, who's made other songs that work, could definitely do the Chitlin circuit tours to keep money in his pocket and make legitimate money. That, hey dog, the call could have been bullshit. You may have cut your leg on a fence, but whatever caused you to run out of that back door needs to be a learning point for other people who are in a similar situation as you. Nigga, don't run out the back door. If the police knocked on my door right now, I'd be a little paranoid because, like, why the fuck are y'all here? But I know at the end of the day, there's nothing that I'm doing that has me so afraid of the police that I'm not going to confront them. You know what I mean?
For sure. And again, it goes back to, obviously his situation gets highlighted in this, but at the same time, you're absolutely right. We gotta get out of this mentality. The streets aren't cool. That type of relationship that it's had with APD or any PD for that matter It shouldn't be that way. And hate to sound like anyone's favorite politician, but we got to get some police reform. And so to where the neighborhood, there's not, anytime a police shows up, it shouldn't be only for a negative situation. Like, it can't just always turn into this negative situation, because this was so preventable, obviously. Not because of them. I'm not blaming APD for this.
No.
I'm just saying.
Well, I'm not blaming them yet. If they shot that nigga, I might blame them.
Yeah, but it's already been said that that's the case. I know that King Slime actually came out and said that it was a shot. That's what he tweeted, but he should be the last nigga on. I just wouldn't be doing anything about it.
Yeah, we can talk about King Slime next, because he may be headed back to Cobb County Jail.
Sex. Well, no, they already shut that shit down though.
Oh, they did?
TMZ. I told you it was on.
But you know what? I'm happy that the Atlanta DA's office, Fulton County DA's office, brought that to the judge, because I think it needs to be let him know, hey, dog, we know we didn't get everybody. We know some of y'all beat it. We know it's a lot of your people walking around out here. You're not going to try to control YSL via Twitter or via X. You're not going to create problems in the Atlanta streets and more distrust with APD by your tweets. Shout out to Fannie Willis. That was smart. I don't care if it didn't work. They probably knew it wasn't going to work when they did it. But it's just a hate thug. We watching you. But back to your preventable piece. I'm sorry. I'm just over.
No. I mean, it all falls under the same boat. In general, it's just it's a culture, and we've got to. You can keep we got to do better. It's just, all in all, everything has to be done better. Scooter, for sure, he had some of my favorite features on a lot of these Gucci Man tapes more than anything, which is kind of crazy. I know more of his collabs with Gucci than Future.
Well, because when Gucci signed him, it's really when he turned up. Because Gucci was putting him on everything.
Yeah, hold your rollie up. He's on that. He's on It's some shooters in his house. Yeah, that shit always goes for me. My favorite might be the Julio when I got them dirty birds, call me Julio. That shit was timely too. It was great.
Yeah, it was the theme. It was the theme of the Super Bowl season.
Yeah.
Or someone
made
called
$1 million due to Arthur Blank.
But you know what, Parlay Pete, I really think that as a Black community, we have to separate ourselves from the criminal community, right? I think that far too many law-abiding Black citizens carry a lot of the beliefs of the streets because they're not in the streets, right? It's like, hey, I don't talk to the police. Well, that's fine because you're not a criminal. So it doesn't really help you or hurt you day to day by not talking with the police. But at the same time, when we talk about some of the ways that our communities are policed, our communities don't do a great job of extending an olive branch to law enforcement either. And I don't want to sound like a law enforcement apologist, because I think, like, if you've listened to this pod for years, you understand where I stand. Like, I'm not the most police, like, blue friendly guy. Like, they scare me. But how can you expect police to understand your neighborhood, know your people, if you don't interact with them, if you don't talk to them, if you don't give them pertinent information when they need it, right? Like, if there's a killing in the hood or in your neighborhood, not even in the hood, let's say in your neighborhood, and you get asked a question, nigga, cooperate. Because at the end of the day, the goal is to make your neighborhood safer. Like, and the police can't get to know the people if the people don't open themselves up. Don't get me wrong. Police, the burden is on the police because they took the oath. So they should have to go the extra step to properly protect and serve their neighborhoods. But dog, if all you get is pushback from these people and there's constant crime over here and ain't nobody fucking with you, you got niggas running out the back door when you show up on a call. How well can I police this neighborhood? How can I better police this neighborhood if y'all can't help me get to know you? If you run, like, bro, a lot of cops are just niggas doing their job. They get called on the radio, hey, go here. Here's what we've been told is going on. And they show up. Yeah, there's a lot of bad apples, but I don't know, man.
Absolutely. I mean, you're spot on with it. We got to do better. Everybody's got to do better, but we've got to be better. Comply with police. See what the issue is. The justice system, we know, can be unfair, but I would like to think that there are more cops out here that will look out for you than the ones that aren't looking out for you. And when I say aren't looking out for you, I mean purposely doing shit to you. I think that there's more out here that genuinely, they're there because there's a concern, something's going on, but that can all be fixed if there's not really a concern. And so, just got to be better.
And stop being criminals. Like, pick up a trade. Get a job. Parlay Pete, you know why we don't commit, like, real crimes?
Why?
Because we have careers, we have lives, we have people that we care about, and we have something to lose.
And I think the other thing with this is that we've made it to seem like poverty's cool.
Yeah.
And it's not. And like that's like the culture.
Yeah,
right?
it's like if you don't come from poverty, if you didn't get it out the mud,
you're not a nigga.
Then you can't speak to the black experience. And it's like I was having a conversation recently, and we were talking about, you remember when like inflation was crazy under Biden, right?
Mm-hmm.
This was before your situation, because that's important for framing this conversation.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, me and like my college friends, we know that there's inflation going on, but we're hardly affected by it because the entire locker room is like make six figures.
Right.
It's like 10 niggas in that group chat and everybody makes six figures. So it's like, man, I probably shouldn't make this weekend trip because I have been spending more money on regular shit.
Right.
But I can still make this weekend trip, and I can like look at my budget and see where I can cut this, and put the money right back, and I'll be fine.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or, you know what, this is a credit card trip, but the credit card's paid off in 2 months and my life doesn't change. You know what I mean? Like it's not the so
nickel and diamond.
Right, but it's a black experience and we're still niggas. But we just ain't criminals who get it out the mud. It's like, no, we got it out the book.
Right.
We read. We studied, we analyzed, we wrote papers, we took tests, and we make clean, legitimate money, and we have an authentic black experience that deserves respect and honestly should be the standard of black experience. Hip-hop, athletes, pop culture, that should not be the standard black experience. It should be people.
Not real.
It should be career people. Because, dog, our network is crazy. We know street niggas. We know college niggas. We know college niggas. We know, like, dog, think about how many just specialized professionals we have in our network. Like, if somebody just dropped in a group, hey, I'm looking for a therapist. More than likely somebody can say, oh, I know a nigga. And, like, somebody we went to school with. Or,
yeah.
Hey, I'm in so-and-so city. I'm looking for a church. Nigga, we know a pastor in like damn near every major market. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I need some legal advice. I can give you my man's number. I don't know if it's your type of law that you need, but he can either help you or he can direct
He
you.
can point you in the right direction. Yeah.
Oh, I need some logistics. Oh, well, we know some logistics, motherfucker. You know, like our network is so crazy, and I think that it's unfortunate that, again, we're the outcast, right, of Black culture when we should be the standard of Black culture. And I'm not saying that because we're living it, but we didn't have to be 6'5" or have great wordplay and meet the right person, so to speak, to put ourselves in the position to be in the positions we're in, right?
Right.
We were raised halfway decent and we went to a good college. A lot of niggas can get to a good college. If they set the goal of getting to a good college and then figure it out once they get there, you'll find yourself in a better situation than a lot of like trying to be an entertainer, trying to be an athlete. And I'm not saying don't try to do those things because we're on a podcast talking about it. But we could quit this podcast like right now and never do it again. And our lives aren't changing. Like we don't need this. We do this shit for fun. And hopefully it allows us to change our lives. You know what I mean? So I mean, I think this is a great place to close, and I don't like say what's like, you know, obviously respond to this, but I'm just so passionate about breaking away from criminal Black culture and the hood and that being considered the Black norm. And you know, we talked about this shit before we started, like how New York niggas just would talk so bad about Southern niggas, and these are niggas who have generations of non-ownership. Niggas ain't never seen a yard. Niggas be happy to own a car. A nigga is fly if he got his own spot at 25, when in the South, bro, niggas are getting cars at 16. Niggas grow up with front yards, like with family owning the house that they live in or owning property and small businesses and all, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. It's ultimately, again, it goes back to the one key thing that realistically stops it, and that's it's economic power. You know, poverty is real, and that's what creates a lot of that culture and just situation and circumstance to begin with. Because if you look at a white neighborhood, it's not that obviously there are poor white people too. Most of the white people I know, they all do pretty fucking well. Now, granted, I went to private school, but like at the same time, when I look at that, you don't even know what the fuck some of these people do. And it's like everybody's straight. And so, but that's not the identity of white culture either. Right?
I went to public school, and you know, I did the honors AP classes, go to private college, military, all of that shit, right?
Yeah.
3 guys I went to elementary, middle, and high school with. Combined, they didn't go to college 4 years. One owns one of the biggest fence companies around here. One owns one of the biggest roofing companies around here. And another one owns a large roofing company as well. They're getting to a bag.
And that's another issue. But the other issue is this, is that everybody feels like there's only 3 ways to make money in our community. Nobody, again, it goes back to the trade schools. It goes back to, hell, and if it ain't about money, right, because it might not be for some people, let's at least empower the neighborhoods, right? We need more Black male teachers. Nigga, like how many Black male teachers did you have growing up in grade school?
0.
That weren't gym teachers.
Obviously. No, I did not have a Black male teacher until I got to Morehouse.
Me neither. I literally didn't have one Black male. He wasn't, you know, in 5th grade when they were kind of prepping you for middle school, yeah. I switched off with the Black teacher, Mr. Wright, and he actually became the principal of the 6th grade. He was the 6th grade principal the very next year, so he followed us over there. But point being, even with somebody like him, he wasn't even my actual like homeroom actual teacher. But I take that back too. I did have, I had one in middle school. But outside of that, I'm just saying, you know, they're few and far between.
I didn't have a Black woman teacher, and granted, I grew up in Cartersville, so it's
really.
It's like 70% white. I didn't have a black woman teacher until the 7th grade.
That's crazy.
And then after that, I had one more, and she was my marketing teacher in high school. Hey, shout out to Miss Super, my favorite teacher ever.
Literally, I had white pre-K in kindergarten because our school was still kind of white.
Oh, I had a black pre-K teacher or kindergarten.
Oh, I'm just saying, going all the way through though. But like pre-K, kindergarten, they were white, and then I didn't have my next white teacher until I got to Mount Vernon.
Well, you were in the Stevenson pipeline, a little bit different.
I know, but I'm just simply saying. But it was always black women too. Is all I'm saying. Not enough, and that's why we need to at least start. And I hate to pull this boys in the hood ass shit like Cuba Gooding Jr.'s character's dad, which was played by Fishburne or whatever. You need more of those type of niggas in the neighborhood, and you don't really have them, or at least you don't see them. I don't go there, so I don't know. But it doesn't appear like it's either effective or they're just not there. It's one or the other, and so everybody's got to be a fucking hustler. Nobody can just get a trade or, man, fuck it. Even if you're working at Publix, right? Wayfield Foods, wherever. Why can't we start from bagging the groceries to being the assistant manager of the fucking grocery store to the manager? Like,
why can't niggas who have no certifiable intellect, right? And I say certifiable intellect as in grades, degrees, shit like that, right? That says, hey, you know this. Why are niggas too good to work hard? I see the money in construction. Like some of these subcontracts I write, and I'm looking at how much money we're paying somebody to offer one service. And I see how much money it costs to do certain shit, bro. Like this construction shit has opened my eyes to so much stuff because of how much money we're spending on this stuff.
yeah.
And you see these small companies that you sub the work out to, and you give them a $200,000 subcontract, and they're on site for 3 fucking days. Yeah, I know they got materials and overhead and all of that stuff, right? But imagine you just get $200,000 of fucking income. You know what I'm saying? For a week of work. And I get that's not every week, but it's just like shit. But niggas don't want to do construction. They don't want to be plumbers. Like they think that shit's not cool. But the crazy thing is, bro, if you're the guy that's doing it for a company, you get the certifications, you start doing handyman work on the side, you could end up being a general contractor. You can build up a nice company that fucking lives off of subcontracts all day. You know what I mean? Like
You can get back to what some people's grandfathers did, right? Or great grandfathers. They're the ones that built the fucking house. You know what I'm saying? And so
the house that my mom lives in right now, her and my grandmother, my grandfather built that house. My aunt and uncle who live in front of me, my grandfather built that house. My aunt and uncle who live a couple houses down, my grandfather built that house. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Hey, and that nigga went to Biloxi a lot. You know what I'm saying? You can't go to Biloxi without cash. And you can't keep going back if you ain't got cash either. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you can't have a good time without it.
Nah.
Win or lose, you can't have a good time without it. So
that's what that's what I come from. And again, if you can be a white collar guy your entire life, never get your hands dirty because you have the skill set and you get the right certifications, degrees, and everything to be that, go for it. But just because you as a blue collar laborer may not make a lot of money initially because the barrier of entry is low, there's a lot of money in blue collar labor as you move up and you learn more and you become more certified. Like, nigga, the VP of my fucking company is a guy who just worked in construction forever, and he started like operating a little machine, and then he learned that, and he learned this, and he learned that, and he learned this, he learned that, and now he's the vice president of a large general contractor in Atlanta. And I don't know what he makes, but he lives in Sandy Springs. He's a member of a country club, and he wears Brooks Brothers a lot.
It's out there, man. Everybody just is, you need more sense of a community and more people that will look out for each other.
Yeah, man. I think this is a great way to wrap this show up. Because
I have no qualms about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a great positive ending, like trying to empower the Black community because we actually care about that. Unlike these, I'm sorry, I'm going again, but fuck it. I just get tired of like the streets being the voice of our community, and I get it.
No, you mean like Lil Durk, right? Isn't that his nickname? He's the voice, right?
The voice, man, fuck out of here, nigga. You don't speak for me. I hope you're guilty. For real,
You can't hope that he's guilty. You hope that justice is served one way or another.
No, I hope that he's guilty. I hope that he did it, and I hope that he goes to prison for it.
If he did it.
No, but I'm saying I hope that
I don't want anyone to be wrongfully.
No. I don't want to be wrongfully. I'm saying I hope he's guilty. I hope he did it, and I hope he's convicted for doing it. Like, I'm not saying I want Dirk free. Dirk's a demon.
It's not free Dirk till it's backwards.
No. It's only free to 10 till it's backwards. But the problem is the voice, like the niggas behind the shade room, the niggas behind all this hip hop shit, the niggas behind all these podcasts, bro. Like even a bitch ass nigga like Academics, right? Who is not a street nigga, still like has to play ball with this street culture and cover this street culture and glorify this shit. Like, nigga, no. That shit is trash. And stop running to non-American Black people to talk about Black culture. Like, stop going to DJ Vlad, stop going to Adam 22, Academics, all these people who don't really come from this. Bro, that shit is bad. We got so much dumb Black media out here. We ain't got regular middle class niggas talking about Black life, whether we're talking up or down. I mean, you and I do it.
Yeah, but we don't make a living off this.
No, we don't. And people like us, again, I'm not saying it because it's us. I'm saying people with similar backgrounds, niggas who relate to the normal person, non-famous, non-groupie, except for like Kobe and LeBron. We get a little groupie-ish over there, it's okay. To tell the Black story, because we are telling a more authentic Black story than the guy who grew up kicking indoors, rapping about it, slanging dope, and then makes it.
Yeah.
No, that don't usually happen. You usually go to prison or you die young. I ain't never been shot at. Knock on wood. But I don't be in them places. I don't go to them neighborhoods. I don't go to them clubs.
Don't even set yourself up to be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Rarely. Now, I've been to the Texaco on North Side. Or the BP, whatever it is now. But that's on game day.
It's light outside.
And plenty of traffic.
Yeah. Well, and heavy police presence. Because who's directing the traffic, goddammit? Plus, they got to make sure that the stadium is safe. Don't want some guy coming in with a bomb or something.
Right. So,
and actually, real quick, because I know we wanted to end it perfectly on that, but this did just pop up. This is confirmed. Matt Ryan will work with Michael Penix this offseason.
We are all here to do what
it's a great way to end the pod, Parlay Pete.
I'm glad that we've got people that give a fuck about winning. All right. And the Black community, I'm not using Matt Ryan. It could have been Michael Vick. That's how the community needs to be, though. Give back.
Yeah.
Especially if you want to see us succeed. And in that case, the Falcons. Matt couldn't get it done. He wants Penix to get it done.
And you know what that whole bullshit of the game is to be sold, not told? No. You can tell the game, because if you got the game and you know how to play, it don't matter if you give it to somebody else, because you still gonna do you.
You can fucking tell it and sell it. I mean, but don't act like you can't tell it.
Yeah. Tell it to your community. Sell it to those who don't mean well for you.
There you go.
All right, dog. I may call you in a second because I feel like there's like regular life shit that we just haven't talked about. Yeah, we haven't talked in a while actually.
Well, Saturday. But yes, in general.
Well, we were distracted watching our kids too, like because every time we start talking, one of our kids is running off and doing kid stuff.
Yeah, posting Snapchats that I didn't know about. I swear I didn't know until you messaged me. I was like,
I don't know if it was while you were there or before you got there, but Lo almost like ran, like she started like running towards the street, and like I was watching her because we were down in there. I was like, okay, you're going towards the end. I can still see you. And then she just like started walking up the steps, and like I take off, and I'm like, okay, yeah, it's. Shout out to the drunk parents who can actually do that drunk. I can't.
yeah, it's.
I mean, they shouldn't do that, but I'm just saying credit to them to be able to get through.
Sitting up drinking and then doing that.
Yeah, like I don't want to drink while I'm watching my kid run around amongst other kids, and it's kids from like 1 to fucking 12.
Yeah, and that was pretty much the them kids that were over there, they weren't 12. There were no 12-year-olds around us.
No, they were up there
yes,
playing.
in general.
Yeah.
No, that's understandable.
All right, dog. If you're in town this weekend, let's get active. If not, fuck you.
Actually, I need to give him a call. So actually, I'm about to hit him up right now.
All right, bet.
Okay. All right. Salutations, good people. Great show, Lee.
All right, I'll holler at you.
All right.
Out of here.